Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Speak On It podcast. I am your host, Big Mike. We are back in the building after another long week in the world of sports. As you know, I cannot do it alone, and we got a full house tonight. We're almost back at 100%. We're getting stronger, but we got gang tonight. No, I got to start off with the Mad Producer Podcast, Poppy, in the building.
We're working on some new equipment, new setups over here. We're looking good.
I'm trying to get fancy here.
Looking good, feeling good, playing good.
We will ignore what me and Dylan just said as we introduce Anthony back in the building, and he's now the lowest quality person.
I am totally not working on new shit. How y'all doing? Feels good to be back after some long, strenuous weeks, but I'm here. That's all that matters. Lowest quality, but highest voice.
And I know this is usually, I don't know what that meant either, Dylan, but I know usually we introduce Breezy in this spot, but as Dylan just said, he's having technical difficulties. So we will introduce our special guest for the night. We are resetting the Roz counter. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, he is back. He is married. He has relocated. Roz is in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
Round of applause.
Oh yeah.
You know it's bad when you have to fix Oh shit!
Pop out the Lazarus pit. Spit out the Lazarus pit. Live
Yo.
Live from the quantum realm.
Oh man, how you been, sir? How's everything going?
It's been going, man. You know, a lot's been happening, but have to, what I'm saying, like bring some balance back to the force real quick. Come through. Say what's up, everybody. I know you missed a kid. Got some fire for you tonight.
Well, before we get going, we are all about pulling receipts and being fair here. I would like to shout out Anthony and Roz, who both, even though it wasn't on air, both did pick the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, come on now.
And it happened.
Round of applause for the three winners currently on the show.
Well, Dylan, you technically piggybacked off of my pick, but yeah.
I was here.
What?
What are we doing? Piggybacking off his shit. You said this team was going to win 8 games.
But then I also said they're going to win the Super Bowl.
Very difficult to win the Super Bowl if you win 8 games.
I could have easily said the Eagles. I said the Chiefs.
You should have said the Eagles.
You know, it's funny. I really was going to say the Eagles as their matchup, but I was like, teams like Philly that are that good, they usually just lose to like the divisional round or something. It's been that way for like 10 years now.
Because they haven't played nobody. It's amazing when you play quality opponent, what happens.
I mean, they basically amputated Brock Purdy. So they had some.
They amputated Brock Purdy. They concussed Josh Johnson.
Yeah, like they had comp at that last one. It's just
they did what they had to do.
They had some comp.
To be fair, they were this close to
bounty-gated those motherfuckers. They pulled out Greg Williams and was like, "Yo, $70K to whoever hurts Brock Purdy."
To be fair, they
20 if you take out Johnson. If we get McCaffrey playing quarterback, $100K to the guy who does it. That's what they're doing. So they who the fuck did the Eagles beat in the playoffs again?
The Giants
and the Niners.
I mean, it's eerily similar to that Cam Newton like Super Bowl run team too, like just from a talent perspective.
Well, that was different because this Eagles team had a lot of talent, and
they had more talent.
That Panthers team on offense didn't really.
Didn't they have like Ted Ginn, who was just known for being fast, and then like somebody else?
Ted Ginn, if he would have caught any of the, I think, 15 balls that he dropped that year, he would have been like a 1,400-yard receiver with double-digit touchdowns.
Yeah, I think I don't know if they cut Benjamin at that time. I don't know if he made.
Benjamin
that
was
switch.
hurt.
Yeah, he was hurt.
Benjamin was hurt that year, and then
they
he kept eating cheeseburgers and became a tight end in Buffalo.
Did they have Devin Funchess too?
They did have Devin Funchess.
Not for that run.
Oh, not for that run.
No, they drafted him later, right?
They drafted him after.
Yeah,
They really didn't have anybody because that was after they got rid of Steve Smith.
Yep,
and they kind of just had Ted Ginn, Greg Olson, and Superman Cam.
But that team, that Cam Newton season was just.
It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. It's just that defense was also unbelievable too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
I remember there was so much
running over Cam Chancellor.
Yeah,
and all these big guys.
Cam was just a force.
Yeah, and Mike, I hate to have to point this out, but I still remember that game they had against the Titans that year, where Cam scored in the end zone and he was doing his thing, and one of the Tennessee players pushed him and was trying to fight. yeah, exactly.
He did it. They pushed him, and then he does it again.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be big mad too.
And then Von Miller stole his soul in the Super Bowl, and nothing was the same.
Oh yeah, that was.
And
bad.
nothing was the same.
Nothing was the same.
Yeah.
Nothing really was the same. Like
then he started having the shoulder injuries and the Liz Frank on his foot.
You know what's funny? The shoulder injury actually comes from him hesitating to pick up the fumble, and then he does it at the last minute and jams his shoulder. I think that's what really set him off after that. If he didn't dive for it.
Yeah, if he would have dove for it, I mean, he wouldn't have got it, which is why he wasn't gonna dive. But
why dive at the last minute and hurt yourself? It's either he just doesn't go for it, or he doesn't, or he just like.
I mean, conspiracies was centered around that play.
He got injured, I think, in that play.
Conspiracy.
Anthony with the NFL rigged and conspiracies.
Oh, that was on the script.
That was on the script.
That was on the script.
If you ask certain people, they said Cam didn't go for the ball. It was part of the script.
Anthony, shut the fuck up about this script shit.
Don't get mad at me. Get mad at the script writer.
No, I get mad at you because you bring it out.
You think they just got a right for this year? Like, come on, man.
Bang.
Shit like that.
Shit. Motherfuckers getting paid since the 90s, man.
All right, because I'm not going down.
Imagine
this road
scripting a fucking ACL tear.
For the car accident that he got into.
If you believe the Tommy Fury script just got leaked before the match,
none of it was right. By the way, none of it was right.
And it's like, of course, no one could possibly write that up on like a Word doc or something. Impossible.
I can only imagine the look on Brady's face in 2000 when they gave him his script. That man must have been in disbelief.
Probably because he was handed a playbook instead of a script.
Imagine him looking at the script in 2013. I'm gonna lose to them again. Anyway, let's move on because I'm not going down this flat Earth
stupid rattle. Don't get me started.
Is it too soon?
Conspiracy hour.
Is it too soon?
Oh, Ross, you one of those flat earthers?
No, I was referring to like Mr. Burning Sage, not Burning Sage anymore in the stadium.
That's what I was referring to, and I know Dylan knew that's what I was referring to.
Too soon.
No, it's not too soon. He's too busy scorching earth in Dallas right now.
It is.
They're not doing too bad.
Were they like 1-3?
They're 1-4.
Yeah, they've won one game since Kyrie.
And that was like the Spurs, right?
Games.
And it was the Spurs.
Oh Lord, why are they losing?
It's not, it's not how Kyrie's playing; it's how he's like carrying himself. And when you have Jason Kidd, out there saying, "I'm not out there," what do you want me to do about it? I'm just like, "Oh, what?"
Nothing, Jake. So we could just go right into that.
Kid has
Nothing he said was wrong. It's just as the head coach,
It was in poor taste.
you cannot really say
Especially when you get a guy like Kyrie on your team who is
who's hypersensitive.
to things like that.
Yep.
Kind of can't do that.
But I feel like he's just going through the motions. Like, yeah, I get to play with Luka. This is great.
And then he's gonna be in LA next year.
And then I don't know about that.
What?
I don't know about
And
that.
then he'll be a Laker next year.
I don't know about that.
And
Bro, you don't want him on the Lakers?
Not really.
I don't know, Roz. Those
You said no?
Not really.
when they were asking him about the Lakers, and he was like, "Yeah, I wanted to be there, but I'm here."
Yeah,
Not
but
at the time.
here's the thing, right? And this is what I'm talking about. This all stems back from them not trading LeBron when I told them to trade LeBron. So what's going to happen is they're going to appease LeBron and bring all his buddies along. Kyrie and him just going to get back together like a whole, like, it's going to be like stepbrothers all over again. And then it's going to just not do anything. And now we're going to have to pay Kyrie until he decides that he wants to hang it up, or I don't know, just gets the heck out of town. I don't know what to say.
And you'll be paying him to play half the games in the season.
This is insane. I really don't like that script. That's one script I don't want to see. Rip that script up.
I know we could go back to the off season before we started, and you were talking about how you wanted Kyrie Irving. You're like, I'd kill for Kyrie Irving. And when I was making the points, and then you'd be really pissed off when Kyrie, LeBron, and Anthony Davis all play 40 games apiece.
Well, I wasn't necessarily worried about that too much because I think the talent would have pushed through, but like, it's
not when they don't play basketball.
I like D'Lo. I like where D'Lo is. Like, like we need an infusion of young talent.
I think D'Lo's good for your guys' current team as constructed.
We need infusion of young talent. Like, it's night and day with like the young talent that's in there. Like, that's, for me, that's paramount, right? Because the Lakers literally had like fringe players and role players who were the young talent. Everything was whatever LeBron wants. Whatever he wants, get whatever guys in. And I'm like, we're not going to do the Miami. I know he won a championship there. I know everybody's like, well, that won him a championship, but he's not able to do the things that he was able to do before. He doesn't have that. He's not willing to take that responsibility either. He's been saying that now for a year and a half. I don't want this. And that's fine. But I mean, don't try to make him do the things that he is not capable of doing. And seems like no one on the Lakers learns their lesson until now.
So at what point, Rise, do we, because I know I've heard LeBron out of his mouth say that he's not running the team and he's not making roster decisions and he's not doing this. I've heard him say it multiple times. You stay on this that LeBron is controlling everything thing. You think that LeBron would have wanted? Oh, I guess not. I guess didn't even finish the question because I'm just wondering, would LeBron loves Caruso? LeBron absolutely loved Alex Caruso, as do I. LeBron loves play, like anyone that's followed LeBron's career knows that LeBron loves playing with veterans. He does not play he does not play well with younger talent. Just it has never worked for him. So I don't understand
why the fuck did the Lakers decide that in year 19 and 20 that they wanted to build him a team around him with young players.
Young players, it makes no sense, but for some reason,
they won a championship with minimal young players.
Like literally, like Caruso and Kuzma were the young players on the team. That was, and if you want to throw KCP, but I wouldn't even consider KCP a young player. He's not young;
he's a vet.
But that was it. And now, like
the Lakers, it goes back to what I said at the beginning of the year. Like the Lakers they tried to rebuild the wheel on how to build a team around LeBron by going from a round wheel to a square wheel. And then they're mad that the square wheel doesn't turn. like you had a wheel that was working. You followed the
LeBron blueprint.
And you followed it and you saw success. why throw it all out the window? Because you just decided in these last 2 years that we finally value our draft picks for the future and not when I have LeBron James who's still playing at a crazy level, Anthony Davis, who when healthy is good, but then you go and you get Russell Westbrook, who never was a good fit for that team. You go and you get Pat Beverly, who also wasn't a good fit for that team.
You got rid of all of your centers.
All of your bigs, you let all of your shooters go.
It's known that Anthony Davis does not like to play center, and yet you left him to play center.
It also feels like it's known that Anthony Davis didn't like playing with Russ on the court. And I don't think Russell Westbrook's role was clearly defined enough to him as to like what his job was going to be, because every time Russell Westbrook has like succeeded in this league, to like throw away how you feel about him as a player or as a person, like he thrives when he's primary ball handler and is like, your role is primary ball handler, like go be triple double guy, go do that. And the Lakers just couldn't provide that with him because he's not primary ball handler on that team, because you have like LeBron fucking James. Then you go and he was having a good year.
He was having a good year.
Before he got traded too. He was going to probably be 6th man of the year. He might still probably get votes for 6th man of the year because of that, because he played enough games as the 6th man, I think, to qualify. But his role in LA is in across the hall, I think is going to be much better for him because the role is clearly defined and what they're asking of him. But the rebuilding that Laker wheel from the circle to the square was never it. Deciding, again, year 19, year 20 of LeBron James' career, that, you know, we care about our draft picks and we're not going to go and try to actively win, just to throw all that away at the trade deadline and be like, you know, we're going to go get these guys to like give us a great chance to win. You should have did this before the season started.
But its circumstances are different, though. They actually didn't mortgage those first-round picks still, even with the trades. A lot of them were centered around multiple second-round picks, moving people. You know, I think it's I think they were able to accomplish the middle ground that they hoped, right? You know, like they found talent. And shout outs to the talent evaluation, you know, guys in the building, and Pelinka for, you know, like he comes out smelling like roses for now by sticking to his guns and getting this impact that seems to have rejuvenated and re-energized the Lakers without having to mortgage the future that everyone was asked him to do for any one of those superstars. The problem is, though, is this LeBron James injury.
Yes, that fucks up everything.
This LeBron James injury is going to be a disaster, possibly. You know, I've watched replays of him talking about, I heard it pop, all these other things like that. You know, if there's ligament damage in there, I mean, he's done. Like, I mean, even if LeBron was LeBron from 10 years ago, 15 years ago, he still possibly might be done. You know, this is the same guy who was like legitimately getting carried out of the stadium because he had muscle cramps. You know, like, I mean, there's no way this guy is going to play on a damaged ligament and be effective. Like, it's just not going to happen. And so the Lakers have to ask themselves now, do you believe that Anthony Davis is going to take us into a deep run? And like anything else, I'll say this: the Lakers aren't going to win a championship with Anthony Davis by himself and no LeBron James. And so the question is the younger guys, you know, are they going to be able to, you know, like at least grow with the team? Now if you're playing, you're evaluating how many of these young guys I can bring back, right? They're showcasing. It's just tough luck. But I'll tell you this: if they had done what I said they should have done, this would have been a completely different thing. They're just delaying the inevitable by a few years.
If they would have done what you wanted them to do, they would be the Houston Rockets.
And the Houston Rockets still, at this point right now,
are the worst team, the second worst team in basketball.
I don't think they've been the worst team. I think you would have
the
gotten
second worst team in
as I said,
basketball.
I think you would have gotten at least a combination of picks and players for LeBron James and Anthony Davis to where you at least replenish the cupboard. You have some young guys that play with some effort. Maybe they probably would end up more like OKC like last year, or
I don't
maybe
I
know
don't
who
want.
you would have
yeah.
gotten.
Yeah, but
And Dylan, I'm not insulting the Nets. Don't take it, but they would have been a
That's fine.
lesser version of the Nets. That's what they would have been.
Well, the question you have to ask yourself is before you even give LeBron James his new contract that he signed, right? What would you have been able to get for LeBron James at that point? I think you would have gotten. I think would have been surprised how much the Lakers would have been able to get for LeBron James. And I think
Anthony's going to say no, but I agree with you. But I think
think-
you would have gotten a lot of offers that would have been just like filler.
no, because it's before he signs the contract. It's before he signs the contract. So I think
you
it's
get a lot of filler.
no. I think you get him before he signs the contract.
Because you're not going to send him to Siberia. Nobody is going to like. Let's say OKC called, and we're like, we'll give you all these first round picks we have in Shea.
No.
Why would
No.
You would need
No.
more. You would need much more. And why would I want to send him to Siberia? Why would LeBron want to go to Siberia? Because then you're at the whim of LeBron. Who's like, you send me to Oklahoma City for their best player and first round picks to go play with fucking 12-year-olds. I'm just not gonna stay there.
But LeBron James doesn't have any. He didn't have any leverage in that case because he doesn't have a no trade clause.
Yeah, but then he could be one of those things where it's like, hey, I'm just gonna take care of this injury thing that I just developed, and I'm gonna be out for the year.
So yeah, so here's a problem with that, right? Is he can do that, but also in the same instance is he still has to chase that scoring record. So if you give him, I mean, but he has to play. That's the whole thing. Is like he has to play. So
but
if you trade
do this
him
before he signs that contract, you now have to get the guarantee before making the trade that he's going to sign an extension.
Yeah,
so
but it's also like again, right? You want to have an amicable split where everybody's happy, but I think you guys are underestimating how much he cares about his legacy. And don't get it twisted. His eyes were squarely on that scoring record. It wasn't this year. It wasn't last year. It's the first time anyone ever told him he was on pace to do that. And we're talking about it could be as far as 2 or 3 years from 2 or 3 years past. So with that being said, he has to play. Like he can't say I'm gonna hold out. I'm not gonna play. I'm not gonna do anything because I'm on a bad team. Wherever he goes, he's gonna play. And
but no team is going to trade for especially if this is before that contract extension. No team is going to trade for him unless he commits to sign an extension the second the trade's done.
Yeah, but we also thought that about Kyrie Irving, right?
Well, no, the Mavericks traded for him fully not knowing whether he's going to sign an extension or not.
He's not signed to them.
For someone,
he's a free agent.
He's definitely not going to sign.
For someone like LeBron James, I think more people than you believe, even in this scenario, will be willing to trade for him for his stature, for his supposed leadership, and also for the fact that they would be the team to be able to have the opportunity to host him for breaking that record. That's the only reason why the Lakers re-signed him.
But Raj, what would you get for LeBron?
They didn't re-sign well, let me be clear. The Lakers didn't re-sign LeBron James thinking that as a roster was currently constructed that they were going to win a championship.
No, they re-signed LeBron James to stay on the island of relevancy.
Correct. And also to have him be that person to actually break the scoring record in a Lakers jersey. Like this is all
putting
from a financial
LeBron James
standpoint.
anywhere doesn't put you on the island of relevancy. You have to put him somewhere where he really wants to be, or else you're not going to get the LeBron you want. And any team is dumb if they trade for LeBron James without securing that contract extension.
I agree, but we've never seen him in a situation where he has been in a place where he hasn't wanted to be in because everyone's always obliged him because of his otherworldly talent.
And you'd be silly if you didn't.
No, I understand. But this is a different situation. This is this is uncharted waters. This is LeBron James's talent right now for the first time in a very long time doesn't automatically make you bend the knee. It makes you say, that would be nice, but it doesn't mean that he's going to carry your entire franchise to a playoff guaranteed by him being on the team. So it's a different situation now. It's complete apples to
And
oranges.
that's just
to where
because
he was
he's in
before.
year 20.
I mean, but it is what it is. We can't run the clock back, but you can't run the clock back. It still doesn't change the fact that it's different now.
So think about what what the Nets got for Kevin Durant, right?
Everything.
What, 4, 5 first round picks,
4 first round picks,
and 2 starter players, 2 young starter players. Like, what do you get for LeBron now in year 20 for maybe a year? What do you give up?
But that's now. I'm talking about before you sign the contract.
No, I'm saying this before the contract. So now we know, based on what the trade market was during the offseason, right? Which all started with Rudy Gobert being traded for $1 billion first round pick.
Oh.
So that started the trade value. Like, that reset the trade market completely for stars.
So I think it depends on the team, right? Like, if you were to say, hey, let's put LeBron James on the Warriors, I think the Warriors give you every first round pick that they possibly can within the 7
And then you have to match contracts. So then it's like, okay, well, if we get LeBron James, how do we stay competitive without giving up Clay, Steph, or Wiggins?
Yeah, they're already
and they'll give up Draymond.
But who wants Draymond without any of the other guys?
But the Lakers, but we're talking about a trade. We're talking about the Lakers knowing that they have to trade LeBron James. You know, like, you'll take Draymond,
and you'll
take Wiseman, you'll take all that. Before Wiseman was gone, you'll take Wiseman, you'll take Draymond, you'll take whatever matching contracts, and you'll take every first round pick the Warriors have. You may even do the same thing to the Suns. The Suns might do the same.
The Suns would have given you the best deal because of
the Mavericks would also
be willing to give up.
I think the Heat actually probably entertain that as well too. I think a lot of teams
the Heat would have been a great trade because you could have gotten Bam as well as like a couple of their young guys.
Yeah, I think even the Bucks. I think even team. It's because LeBron James is not seen as so Kevin Durant and LeBron James are seen in the same light, but LeBron in a slightly lesser degree, which is they are the piece that will take you over the top. They're not the piece that you're going to say, okay, I got my guy. He's going to be running the team for the rest of like the next 5 years or so. They are the pieces that are going to take you over the top. The Suns they're not expecting Kevin Durant to basically replace Devin Booker. He's there to complement Devin Booker. He's also
we clearly don't understand what Kevin Durant is then.
I would disagree with that too.
I would also very much so disagree with that.
Kevin Durant is meant to be there like how he was with the Warriors, which is to take that team over the top.
Yeah, I don't see how I can disagree.
Not brought to the Warriors to replace Stephen Curry. That is
the only reason Kevin Durant wasn't the guy in the driver's seat in Brooklyn was because everybody else was hurt. Everybody was always hurt. Like, that's the only situation. Kevin Durant was carrying that Nets team during those playoff runs, doing his damnedest.
Kevin Durant came with Kyrie Irving for a reason.
And it was to be the guy. Kevin Durant
for
was
both of them
unequivocally
to be
the guy.
Because Kevin Durant by himself is not going to take you to the championship.
No superstar by themselves is going to do anything.
But
LeBron
and that guy doesn't exist. And that guy, but he didn't win.
That guy doesn't exist anymore.
No, that guy doesn't exist, and he didn't win. He got to the finals, but he didn't win.
But I'm saying, like, at this point, though, when we're evaluating the players and why you're trading for them, Kevin Durant is not meant to be brought to the Suns to supplant Devin Booker. He was never brought to the Warriors.
We are clearly misunderstanding.
I mean, it is what it is, though.
The Suns is then. Kevin Durant is now the best player on that team. He is the closer on that team. That is his team. And you can listen to everybody else in that locker room, how they talked about Kevin Durant walking in. They all said, we all take practice significantly more serious now because
you have the pieces over the top. It's the same thing with the Warriors, right?
It's
like
say what you want about Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is still one of the 5 best basketball players in the world.
Correct.
5 best basketball players in the world.
When he's healthy and when he's on, absolutely.
When he's healthy.
But the problem is Devin Booker is not that healthy. He has his
There is
issue.
not a single world that in the next 4 years, because that's what the Suns have him for, they have Kevin Durant for the next 4 years. There is not a single world where Devin Booker in any of these 4 years is a better basketball player than Kevin Durant.
He could catch him, Dylan. I see the.
I will repeat
Devin
what I
Booker's
said.
ceiling.
Kevin
His
Durant
ceiling
was
is where
not
Kevin Durant
this
brought
is.
in there
is
to
not Devin
supplant
Booker's
Devin
team.
Booker.
It
This
was
team is
a week
not
ago.
Devin
He
Booker's team.
was
It's
not
This
anymore.
is Kevin Durant's team. This isn't him going to the Warriors, that team that
Why
has
isn't it?
already won and had this unanimous MVP and all these other accolades. No, he just went to a team who had a nasty Game 7 loss to the Dallas Mavericks, where none of them could do absolute anything. A team that lost.
Oh, you
to
mean
Giannis.
like how the Warriors lost the game, like how the Warriors lost in a Game 7 against the Cleveland Cavaliers the year before, and then Kevin Durant was brought in the year afterward, like that.
But everybody understood that was not Kevin Durant's team.
No, but the thing is, this isn't
but
KD. It's not
about
KD's
That
team
Warriors
either.
team already won without him.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
No,
That's the same thing with Phoenix. It's not
the same
Kevin
thing with
Durant's
Phoenix,
team.
though.
They went to the
Phoenix hasn't
finals
won
without
shit.
KD. No, but they went to.
Shit.
But they
They
went.
went-
They
haven't
went to
won
the
shit.
finals without
They went to the
KD.
finals.
KD's
But
there
what
to
have
take
they
them over
won?
the hump.
But
No,
what
but-
have they won?
No, but it's different though, because
It's not different.
It is different. It is
Steph Curry,
different.
at that point of Kevin Durant joining, is a unanimous MVP, a 2-time MVP, and an NBA champion, already solidified. The Warriors are already a finals team without him.
Let me ask you a
The
question.
Suns won the finals one time.
Let me
Went
ask
to
you
the
a
finals
question.
one time.
Do you think that the Warriors beat that same Cleveland team that they lost to in Game 7 with Kevin Durant on their team?
Do you think the Warriors with Kevin Durant still beat the Cavs?
That Cavs team that won in Game 7. Do you think if Kevin Durant was on that team, they beat the Cavaliers?
You're asking me a question that is not related to.
No, I'm about to tell. No, I'm about to tell you. No,
But
it is.
I
It is.
will
I'm about to
answer
tell
your
you.
question. I will answer your question. Yes, Kevin Durant, adding Kevin Durant to a team that won 73 games will win you a Game 7.
I mean, you can add whatever you
Yes.
want to that. I just asked you if they would beat- that's it. If they-
I
if they
will.
would beat
I
that
need to
team
apply
in Game
context
7.
because what you're asking me is
No,
without context. And
No,
I
I'm about to pull the rope for you. I just want you to answer the question. Do you think Kevin Durant on that Warriors team, right? Even with Draymond gone, you put him on that team for that Game 7, they beat the Cleveland Cavaliers, or even that
I will
series if you
follow.
want.
I will follow up that question with a question of my own, if you don't mind me asking.
Sure.
Name me any player on the Phoenix Suns as currently constructed of the caliber of Steph Curry.
No one's gonna.
None.
I never
Zero.
said anything about
Thank
that.
you.
But what does that have to do with
Thank
anything?
you. Because you're telling me that Kevin Durant is just meant to be a mercenary on this team.
No,
He's
I'm
not
telling
meant
you.
to be
I'm
a
telling you, Kevin
mercenary
Durant
on
was
this
meant to be
team.
taking him over the top. That's all I said. I didn't say he was a mercenary.
This is Kevin Durant's team now.
All right. Let me follow up. So now you want to know where I was going with this. Let me pull the rope. Do you think in that game, in that series against the Milwaukee Bucks, if you put Kevin Durant on that Suns team, they beat the Milwaukee Bucks?
Yes, because Kevin Durant almost beat that Milwaukee Bucks team by himself.
That's my point. That's my point.
But do you know why? Do you
That's my
remember
whole point.
what those Suns teams the players were averaging scoring wise? They didn't have a single person average more than 20 on that team. If you bring in Kevin Durant to just average 25 and be average.
But even with that, you're still telling me if you put Kevin Durant on that team, they still beat that Milwaukee Bucks.
But that
team.
is also 2 years ago.
But listen to what I'm trying to tell you though. He's meant to be the same chess piece for both of those teams. As soon as they lost to an existential talent, i.e. LeBron James, when he was going off in his thing and they went ahead and beat them in Game 7, just like Giannis when he went historic crazy basketball skills on the Phoenix Suns that series. He had a historic series.
Athleticism, not
he
skills.
didn't have a great series. He had a historic series.
No, he did though.
He had a
He
historic
did.
series.
No, he did. He did.
LeBron James had a historic series too. But you know what? Like, he is meant to be what he's always been for the past 10 years. That missing piece to come in and take your team over the top. He tried with Kyrie Irving to say, hey, listen, I don't need to be that piece anymore. I can just be the foundational piece. And then I can just take us, like with maybe my Batman and another person, and that's it. But then he realized, you know what? This is not how the game goes. So what did he do? He said, "Listen, if you want to put me somewhere, put me on the Suns.
Well,
I've been in
hold
this
on.
role already.
This is you
I've done this
misunderstanding
already.
timelines again.
I've
You're
done
not
this
doing
already.
that.
He's
You're
done
not
it
doing
already.
that. You're doing
done
this
it
all
already.
wrong. You are
He's-
doing this all
He's
wrong.
done this. He's played this game already.
You're not going to talk to me
He's
like
done
you
it already.
understand a timeline when you don't understand a timeline.
Wait, the
You're
Suns
not
were
going to
bad.
get the Nets Kevin Durant timeline again because everything you're telling me is absolutely false and wrong.
How's it false?
You're telling me Kevin Durant said, I'm not doing this Batman thing anymore.
No, I said he decided he doesn't want to be a foundational
That's
piece
not
for
what
the team.
That's not why he went out. That's not what happened.
What do you mean?
You're saying that he decided that, you know what, I'm not going to be the best player. I'm not going to be the guy that teams build around anymore. That's what you're saying, the foundational piece. That is literally not what happened in Brooklyn.
Okay, so
at
listen.
all. So
Kevin Durant went to Brooklyn with Kyrie Irving to be the foundational piece of that team and to have it built around him. He's going to the Phoenix Suns right now. He's not in that role. He's meant to take them over the top. That's what I'm trying to say.
Excellent. I'm glad you cleared up the same thing you've been saying. That doesn't change anything that I'm saying.
So I don't understand how Kevin Durant
you may
is
think
meant to be
he's just the chess piece for
But
this.
he is.
Going forward, he is the foundational piece. That's what we're not understanding. When Chris Paul is gone, because he's probably gone after this year, you are going to find a point guard that works best with Kevin Durant, not Devin Booker. You don't care about Devin Booker anymore.
Yeah, you care about Devin Booker.
You care about Devin Booker 10 years down the line. Right now, you are here to maximize.
That's not true.
A top 5 player in the world.
That's not true. That's like saying that's like saying that the Warriors
Devin
don't
Booker
take
is
in
now Robin.
Klay Thompson.
Devin Booker is
even though
Robin.
Steph is there. So wait, do you think the Warriors take into how they build the team just based on Steph Curry and not Klay Thompson?
You build around that certain situation. You build around 4. You don't build around just one.
Wait, hold on. Do you think Do you think that the Warriors build their team, this team that they've currently constructed over the years? You think that they've only built that team around Steph and Curry, or do you think they take in consideration Klay Thomas as well?
No, they built around 4 guys in their run. The Suns are not
Klay Thompson
Warriors,
one of them?
So we're going to compare 2 different situations again.
No, it's not 2 different situations.
We're comparing apples and oranges again.
Wait. Klay Thompson to me is akin to Devin Booker in this situation. That's for me.
He's not.
He is.
He's not.
He is.
When was Klay Thompson ever supposed to be the guy?
Wait. Do you think that Klay Thompson is superior to Devin? Like, how much do you think Klay Thompson is superior to Devin Booker right now?
Right now, not a lot because Klay stinks now. But in those runs when they were building those teams, Klay was arguably the best shooting guard in basketball and the best two-way player in basketball.
Okay, so do you think that Devin Booker is a top 5 player in his position?
Shooting guard in the league?
Yes.
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 He is. Yes, he is. He is.
Yes.
Right. So here's the thing: is if you're building around that team and you say Kevin Durant is the foundational piece there, do you just build around Kevin Durant or do you build around Kevin Durant and Devin Booker?
You have to build around actually everybody on that team because that's how teams are constructed.
No, that's not
but
true.
again,
you build around
Devin Booker. You
don't build around Devin Booker.
Right
you
now.
are building to maximize your Kevin Durant window.
When Kevin Durant's contract is up, he's going to be 36.
Yes,
that's
exactly.
Why.
That's what I'm trying to say.
That's why you build around Kevin Durant.
But Ron,
you maximize your Kevin Durant.
But that's what I'm trying to say. Is that
one.
Kevin Durant is not Kevin Durant. But Mike, you're making my point for me. Is given everything that we know about his age, his whole situation right now, he's still an otherworldly talent. But you have to build around both him and Devin Booker. They're both it's not just Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is meant to take that team over the top.
But I think the point that you're not hearing me and Dylan, what we're saying is Kevin Durant is still the best player on that team.
I never said that he wasn't
and the foundation now.
I never said that he wasn't though. And I could argue with you with this though. When he was brought over to the Warriors, I think he was the best player on that team too.
But he was never the foundation.
But I think he was the best player on that team too, though.
But he was never the foundation.
I think this is very similar to this.
It's very similar. That's my point.
I don't think it's
very similar.
I'll tell you why it's similar, Dylan. Because when he went to Golden State, he was the best player on that team.
He was
but
the
he
best
wasn't the
player on that
face of the
team.
franchise.
He was
Steph
not the
Curry
face
was
of
the
the
face of the
franchise.
franchise.
That's my
And in
point.
this situation, he's the only difference is he might be the face of the franchise.
He's
No.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I don't know if that's Devin Booker.
Devin
I
Booker.
disagree with you all.
Devin Booker is still the face of the franchise. Devin Booker is still the face of that franchise. When
the
LeBron,
problem is they are an organization that is not used to winning shit. So the second they win, do you know who's going to be the face of that?
I can agree with you on that.
And then when he becomes the face of that team because they win the title, he is the face of that team forever.
But KD still has to ball out because if Devin Booker's going insane in the finals, Devin Booker's still going to be the face of that franchise. Yes, KD helped him get to that point, but KD still has to put up.
Let's say that he does ball out and he becomes the face of the franchise. That's still the same situation that happened in Golden State where people couldn't tell you.
No.
After they won the first time with him, then they were like, okay, Kevin Durant is the guy that just like it's unbeatable. He makes them like a historic unbeatable team. After they win the second time, then it becomes, well, we can't lose Kevin Durant. Whose team is this really? And then he gets in the argument with Draymond, and then we come to realize that, oh my God, what are they going to do? Are they going to lose Kevin Durant or are they going to lose Draymond? And then you realize that the narrative around Steph was very, very muted. It was all Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is the best player on this team. They can't lose Kevin Durant because if they lose Kevin Durant, they can't win a championship again. And then all you heard before is, oh, ever since Kevin Durant left, the Warriors can't win a championship. This whole time that they won the last time was to exercise the demons that Steph couldn't win and carry that team without everyone being healthy around him. And so it was a whole big thing about him winning MVP. It wasn't for the fact that he wasn't talented enough.
Well, he was robbed of the first one.
I mean, yeah, you can argue that, but but a lot of the talk was, yo, this guy can't win a championship anymore if he's 1A, playing LeBron James, and 2, if everyone around that team isn't at full capacity with him. He isn't able to carry if someone went down like that, right? Kevin Durant is the one that took them over the top. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, the scenarios are very, very similar. Devin Booker.
But how is it taking it over the top if they won already before he came? I don't know.
No, it puts them over the top because they become the unanimous favorite and they become the fucking Monstars. And now you have a lineup where the guy you just added isn't just a role player; he's an all-time player.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Where in this situation, he was the chess piece there, but there was the only people who really gave the argument that Kevin Durant might be the face of the Warriors is people who weren't there. Like in Golden State, in the organization, or the fans, or anybody. Like Steph was always the guy, and the thing that made KD upset in there was because he knew he wasn't the guy, and then he had Draymond in his ear telling him he wasn't.
Well,
the guy.
I don't know. I think.
Well, he had the whole world telling him.
The whole world.
Listen,
especially Charles Barkley.
Yeah, I mean, listen. Even to this point, Kevin Durant was literally an untouchable person on that team up until that argument with Draymond. It was literally like, oh my God, they're losing Kevin Durant. They can't let this happen.
The reason that
team would have much rather lost Kevin than Steph.
Roz, that is literally, and we can argue about this on another show. That might have been the greatest team ever assembled. There's 4 Hall of Famers in their prime. Why would you want to break that up?
I have no problem with that.
They're never going to lose. They were beating the brakes off of LeBron James.
Oh, they were destroying.
Why would you break that up?
But listen,
that's why they can't lose Kevin Durant.
But the narrative,
no one's beating them.
But if that's the case, then the narrative after he left wasn't, oh man, we lost a person to take us over the top. It was, we're not even sure they can win again.
Well, the problem is that after he left, everybody got hurt, because they all remember the year they lost Kevin, they also lost Clay. And you're not going to have Clay for a while after that injury,
and then
which means
Steph
a whole
last
season. So, and then Steph gets hurt, and Draymond gets hurt. So, and then Steph willed them to the play-in. They went on a run at the end.
Yeah, Steph had a phenomenal.
Almost made.
People always forget about that.
They were written
and that was the origin story of this Warriors Grizzlies rivalry, by the way, because it was Ja that sent them home.
Job, Big Mouth Morant doing his usual
Yes.
stuff.
Oh,
But
You
like,
know?
I agree the situations are similar, but they're different in that Kevin Durant. Once you get a guy like Kevin Durant on your team, you know you're going to have him for 4 years, especially a franchise that isn't established the way the Warriors were. Especially because they're not coming off of a win or a finals loss. They're coming out of a playoff series in which Luka, Dinwiddie, and Jalen Brunson packed them the fuck up.
Mhm.
You now it's like, okay, cool. You just brought in Kevin Durant to be the chess piece, but the most valuable piece on the chessboard is what?
The Queen.
It's the queen. So now Kevin Durant is the most important chess piece in the queen. You now build around Kevin Durant for the next 4 years because you have to
And Devin
maximize that
Booker.
window.
And Devin Booker.
And Devin
But
Booker.
you're not building around Devin Booker as Batman. You're building around Devin Booker as Robin.
But they come as a package.
He's a temporary Robin. Because at the end of the day, in 4 years, Durant's
Robin
going to
for
be
4
30.
years. That's
Yeah.
not very temporary.
That is
No,
still temporary because in 4 years, Durant's going to be 38 and ready to leave the game. In 4 years, Devin Booker's still going to be in his prime at 30.
My
I'm
point
talking
is,
about, Kevin Durant's not going to be 36 in 4 years. Kevin Durant's already 34, going to be 35. Where are you getting this 36 from?
Yeah. No, I got my numbers wrong. That's fine.
yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like Kevin Durant is going to be a person that they're going to be a focal point, but let's not discount the fact that Devin Booker is also in this equation here.
No,
and a
Devin
very
Booker's
big
in the
piece.
equation because when you have guys under contract, you have to build a team around everybody.
It's not just he's on the contract; it's because he's
It's 'cause
literally
he's really
a top
good.
5 person at his
It's really
position.
good.
Yeah,
He's really good.
And guess what?
What
He
is
is
going
a
on?
Robin now.
Don't
He is
let
a
the
Robin
hamstring.
now.
Don't let the hamstring fool you, Dev.
No,
Man. When
he
he's playing,
is
he's really
Devin
fucking
Booker
good.
is not like
It's
hold
not.
on.
I think we need to get rid of the stigma of categorizing these guys like a Batman and Robin because I think they could be Batman A and Batman B, honestly. So they need to really
Too bad
stop
there's only one
lower.
Batman.
They need to stop lowering the totem pole
Agreed.
of these players.
Fine, then let's just do total.
No, but I do agree with that.
Kevin Durant is fucking Superman on this team now, and Devin Booker is fucking Batman.
You can't
And
have
Chris
Booker's a
Paul
dog,
is
man.
fucking
Devin Booker's
you
Aquaman.
can't have a
dog,
Batman
man.
and a Clark Kent. Like you can't do that. Like
No,
No.
because that Batman is the hero. Clark Kent is the guy who works for the fucking newspaper.
I mean, listen, man. Like we'll see, but I honestly think the Suns, if you're building around this Phoenix Suns team for the next 5 to 10 years, you're building around both Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, and they're gonna sit down at the table just like Kyrie and Kevin sat down at the table, and they're gonna be like, "Hey guys, what do you need? What's gonna happen?"
Not at that table.
Wait,
Kyrie was
what?
at that table.
Kyrie was at that table year 1, and then was not allowed back at that table.
I don't know, man.
Kyrie was at that table.
Kyrie
until
was
they
at that
kicked his
table.
ass out.
until
Kyrie
they had
out
to,
and off the table.
until they had to physically move him out the table, out
There's
the
a
building.
reason that Kevin Durant was the guy talking. No, the way the Suns are currently like trying to construct this playoff push is literally just guys Kevin Durant likes.
I love the Suns team. I think while Chris Paul is even maybe considering retiring,
Because he's
I think
washed.
I think he
No, he's
even
old, man.
I think if they win,
Washed.
I think he leaves, right? But I also think that he might come back after that too for like
You would have to come back at a fucking
for
discount because
small
he
money.
is
Yeah, he'll come back for
washed.
small money. He'll come back for small money to
He's
repeat.
horrible this year.
That's one
No,
guy.
I think if they win it all, he'll retire.
I really want him to
James,
win a
don't look at me like
championship.
that.
Horrible.
He's
I
been
was
terrible
baffled.
this year. He's been
I'm
terrible
baffled
this
by
year.
you, Dylan.
He's been terrible.
I think
this year.
CP3. I really want him to win a championship. He has
I
his
would love to
moments
see
where
same
him
thing.
he has his moments where he does little like borderline dirty stuff, but CP3
Yeah.
still
I'm still a big fan of Chris Paul. He's just been bad.
one thing he needs to, and you know what? I'm not gonna go there, Mike.
Dylan, you're a prisoner
I'm
of
not
the
gonna.
moment. It's
I'm
starting
not
to
gonna.
like really show.
I'm
I'm
not
talking
gonna,
about right now. I'm talking about this year. Right now, Chris Paul's not been good. I'm sorry.
Chris Paul would already had
Yeah,
a
but to
championship.
say he's
in my book.
washed is to say you can say, oh,
Right
he's
now,
playing bad.
he's
No, you
washed.
can say he's playing bad this season, but to call a player washed goes beyond the temporary movement.
I would
He
agree.
should already have a
Dylan,
championship in purple and
Dylan,
gold.
you know who was washed this year? Tom Brady. Chris Paul is not playing like Tom Brady.
Chris Paul has career lows in many statistical categories.
Is he playing as bad as Tom Brady did?
No,
Okay.
but it's also a different sport. And when you're used to a guy playing at a high level, extremely high level,
He's
and
not
then they have a big
washed.
fall off,
Not washed.
Kind of
He's not
washed.
I don't think Chris
Come
Paul has
on.
been playing at a
Chris Paul's
high
also
level.
not 40.
He's such a harsh critic though. He's not
Yeah,
washed.
like
Chris Paul's also not 45.
to say that Chris Paul is not playing at a high level when he hasn't played at
Last
a
year
high
was
level.
me saying Chris Paul wasn't playing great. This year is worse than last year. So then you kind of get the washed comments.
Chris Paul
Chris
hasn't
Paul
played
was
at a
playing
high
fine
level since
last
like
year.
Houston, or
No,
his
no.
highest.
Man, Charlotte, man.
James,
I mean,
you
New
were sitting
Orleans.
here
Yeah.
Nah, when
on
he was on the
this
Suns,
show,
he was on
I
the
was
Suns having a
arguing
great
with you that
season.
Chris Paul should have been MVP.
No,
On
yeah,
this
Chris
show,
Paul. Well, like
I
2
was
years
arguing
ago.
with you. Chris Paul
Was
should
it
have been
2 or 3
MVP.
years ago that Suns? He had a great year, I think, on the
Yeah,
Suns.
2 years
2
ago on the
years
Suns,
ago,
he was
yeah, they went
balling.
to the finals. Chris Paul
Yeah.
should have won the MVP.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris
Well,
Paul
he
had a
should
great
have been
year
in the
that year.
conversation, but yeah, he was
I
balling,
wouldn't
and
say
then
he was-
he dropped off.
I still wouldn't say he was playing at a high level. I've seen Chris Paul at a high level. I think that he was just playing
No, I see Chris Paul at elite
very
level.
his veteran status and IQ was showing through completely. I wouldn't say he was playing at a high level. High level Chris Paul is him leading the NBA in steals like he used to, leading the NBA in assists as well as running the team and getting everybody high percentage plays and making players have the highest field goal percentage in the NBA. He hasn't done that in years. That's high level Chris Paul.
Well, that's where we'll
That's
disagree
elite
because
Chris Paul.
when you're an all-time guy, high level basketball is just good basketball to your normal guy. When you're a all-time point guard, that is elite level Chris Paul. That is Chris Paul at peak.
And
Chris
we
Paul,
can
who's
agree that
not at
last year
elite,
Chris
you
Paul
have
was
high
injured.
level.
And we can agree that last year Chris Paul was injured.
He gets injured a lot.
Last year,
He was-
Chris Paul
Yeah, he does get injured a lot.
Last year, Chris Paul
We can
averaged
agree that
14
last year Chris
points
Paul
and
was
11
injured.
assists a game.
Yeah, he wasn't bad at all.
What are we doing? 14 and 11 last year.
You know why? Because
wasn't the
triple
same
doubles
level.
happen. Triple
all
doubles
the way
happen
to
like
the
it's
floor.
nothing now. Triple doubles happen like it's nothing now. You know, we're not gonna speak how all these people are just randomly having like triple doubles out of nowhere. Like
It's not
nothing.
all these people. It's because Joker and Westbrook do it every night that we think it's all these people. It's Joker and it's.
I mean, Josh Giddey almost had a freaking triple double average.
yeah,
for a
that's
year.
Josh
Happens
Giddey's
once
once in
in
a
a
you know, like,
regardless.
It's pretty good.
It's one, those
Josh
guys
Giddey's
are
okay.
getting once in a while. Like we're
It's pretty
desensitized because Russ did
Josh
it
Giddey
for 2
can hoop.
seasons.
His
He's
play
okay.
style is a facilitator.
Josh Giddey is okay.
He's a
Yeah, I mean,
forward
and
who
he's
gets
young, so
boards
that's
and he
why I
pushes
say he's
the
pretty
pace.
good. He's pretty all right.
Yeah, that's the type of basketball he plays.
But I mean, like we've been numb to that because, like you mentioned, like there's been guys that just like seem to just pop up and do these things, and we take it for granted, right? We take it for granted,
Yeah, I mean,
right?
the game evolves, so we see things that was unfathomable at one point in time, or when we would see it, it's like wow, to see it consistently, and then players that adapt and the game that evolves, and then we start to see it with younger and younger players. Now we're starting to say, I mean, we see triple doubles all the time now, guys. That shit hard as hell. Go out there and get 10 rebounds alone and 10 assists and 10 points. It's hard.
No, you're right. Yeah, I completely agree. And so, like, again, like I think because of all these like athletic monsters that are popping up and down around the league, I think we come to forget that guys like, Devin Booker is out here still with the ability to drop 60 on somebody's head top. That's a guy you build around. That's a guy you got to build around, actually.
And then you get a guy who is significantly better than him.
No, and you build around both of them. That was my point.
Yeah.
It was always my point. You build around both of them. You just don't build around Kevin Durant.
Yeah, but just saying Kevin Durant isn't a foundational piece of the Suns going forward is crazy.
I mean,
No, he
That's
definitely
crazy.
is a foundational piece.
I mean, he wasn't brought over there, I think, right now in this case to be the foundational piece. I think he was brought over there to take them over the top and win the championship.
So for this season, we'll say he's here to take them over the top, and then going forward for the next 3 years remaining on his contract, then he's a foundational piece.
I mean, it will end up like that, but it's not just him and then just. I mean,
So what are we talking about?
I'm just telling you. Said it was
If it's
just
going to
him.
end up being that,
Because you said it was just him, and
we
don't.
just
And
wasted
Devin
20
Booker.
minutes. We wasted 20 minutes to go into this full circle
No.
of you saying, "Oh well, yeah, he's going to end up being a foundational piece."
No.
Look at that.
Don't
Here we
mitigate it.
are.
Don't mitigate it.
Here we are.
You said Devin
What?
Booker was chopped liver, basically. That's what you were saying.
Kevin
before.
Durant.
He's not chopped liver.
He's not. But when you compare a guy who's not a top 5 basketball player in the world to a guy who is a top 5 basketball player in the world, more likely than not, you're going to toss that other guy to the side because he is in fact chopped liver to the guy who is a top 5 basketball player in the world.
But that's not fair because any team that you
Durant
drop
top
Devin
five?
Booker.
Kevin Durant's absolutely top 5. Absolutely top 5.
He might be on the right on the outside of that.
Let me think.
You're going to argue that, but I'm
quick.
not.
Let me do it real quick.
He might be right on the outside of that. I think he might be 6th or 7th. I don't think he's top 5. Also, and this is not to be funny, I think he's like 6 or 7 also because he hasn't been playing.
Well, being a top 5 player is based off of you being healthy. And when Kevin Durant was healthy, go find me somebody as efficient.
I have 4. I'm trying to figure out who the 5th one is. I have 4.
That me and Dylan will continue to have
right now, but I'm trying to figure out who the 5th one is.
Joel Embiid was 5th for me.
Yeah, Joel's up there for me. He's one of my 4. I have Joel.
So who is the top 5 again?
So I have Joel, Giannis. I have Joel, Giannis, Joker, and I have who did I just have just now at the top 4? Joel, Giannis, Joker, and I had Embiid. Right?
You said
Joel.
You said Joel.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Joel. Sorry, Joel.
So we're universal here because I don't think anybody here is
Joker,
not going to say Giannis,
Ja,
Joker,
and I had Ja. I had Ja.
Embiid. Those are 3.
I had Ja.
Ja.
I have Ja in the top 5.
Tatum is 4th.
Tatum is 4.
Oh, that's it. Then that's my 5.
That's the 5.
So are we doing right now or when healthy?
Even if right now,
I would swap Ja with Luka.
When healthy.
Ooh, that's good too, Luka.
Yeah, I would swap Ja with Doncic.
That's right, but this hard for me because I think Ja and I think Luka has it's the triple double thing for Luka.
Who would you rather have on your team?
It's tough.
I think I might take Luka.
I think I might take Luka.
I'll take Luka.
I'll take
Shake
Luka.
your head, James, but it's Luka.
Yeah, that's my 5. That's my 5 right now. Luka, Joel, Giannis, Joker, and I'm missing someone. I keep doing that. Who am I missing?
Well, maybe the person that you're missing is who's number 5 for me, which is Steph Boogie. That's number 5 for me.
Well,
and then
we're talking about when healthy because he's not healthy.
Well, he's not.
I'm talking about when healthy. He's 5. KD is 6.
Well, let's talk about this year. Just this year. Just for this year, though.
Tatum. That's what I'm saying. Tatum. That's the last one I keep forgetting.
So where does KD stand on? Like, is he top 10? Like,
he's within the top 10. He's 6.
He's definitely top 10. He probably be 6 or 7.
Top 10.
For me, I'm sorry, Dylan. He's always going for this season. He's been 6 for me, and I've been saying that since the first half.
So do you have him over Tatum?
Me?
Who?
Oh,
KD.
Me?
Who you talking to?
So you, James.
Do I have KD over Tatum?
Mm-hmm.
No. So my top 5 was
okay.
My top 5 was no order in particular. It's Giannis, it's Tatum, it's Embiid, it's Giannis, Tatum, Embiid, Luka. Damn, I just lost track.
Joker.
And Joker. Sorry.
Honestly, I have KD at number 7.
7?
Yeah. I think I'll put Dame Lillard number 6 right now for this year.
Oh my God, because he scored 70.
No, not because he scored 70.
You're doing that thing again. You're doing that thing again.
No, not because he scored
high volume.
Not because he scored 70.
My God,
dude's been literally balling out of his mind this whole year.
He's been balling out, but he's not.
So now if we're playing the game
Dylan,
of right now because KD's not healthy.
Anthony's doing that thing that he always does when somebody goes off. But I'm not gonna lie to you. Dame might be the best point guard in the league this year. Not gonna lie.
So that man's been playing out of his mind.
So you didn't have to do that because Anthony made a good point. You didn't have to do that.
He's been playing out of his mind.
That's a perfect point.
He's averaging 40 points right now.
Here's the problem.
He's averaging 40 points a game.
Yes.
When
forget his 70 point game.
Let him go. Let him go.
Okay. Wait, forget his 70 point game. Look at his scoring streak the past 10, 11, 13 games. He's averaging 40 points a game.
Yeah.
Like, come on now.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta give Dame Dollar his credit, man. I mean, nobody else does. I mean, somebody has to do it. Like,
Dylan
shit.
is in there. Dylan is on the
But the
website.
The great thing is we're gonna be able to debunk this because Kevin Durant's gonna suit up very, very, very soon. I heard.
Yeah, I heard Friday.
And
tomorrow. No, actually tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Very,
Yeah,
very.
they're gonna beat up on the Hornets.
And I think the desert. You might not want to come in there. The desert might be like Death Valley out there. It might be rough. It might be
Definitely
rough.
Death Valley.
It's gonna be rough. You go in there. You go into that arena. It was already crazy in that arena during the
During
playoffs.
Finals, yeah, during
Oh
the
my
finals run,
God,
that
I
arena
couldn't believe it was in
crazy.
Phoenix.
Luka seems to love going to the desert.
Couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it was in Phoenix. Luka's just he's just I don't know what it is about this dude. He just goes if he's like a severe underdog, he just goes out here and just like kills these teams. He killed the Clippers, like these guys just killing the Suns. Like he just goes out and just you expect him to be the winner and stuff, and he's like, yeah, he just plays his own.
Here's a question.
With that 71-point game, Damian Lillard was averaging 37 over his last 10.
Oh, I'm sorry.
7 over 10.
And
What
if
do you
you,
mean?
if you take the 71-point game away,
Don't do
he's
that.
averaging
I'm sorry.
his season average of 33.
I'm sorry. My bad.
33 points a game is kind of crazy. Though.
But that's also
That's a
me
lot.
not counting the goose egg because of the DMP. But
That's
I won't
crazy
do that.
though. That's crazy though.
But I won't do that.
33 points at the point guard is kind of crazy though.
That's
But it's
I'm
not
crazy,
crazy
man.
because that's what
He's
the
been
point
the
guard
best
is
point-
now.
He's been the best point guard in basketball.
Scoring.
The point guard
dare
is
you
score
to find
now.
me a better
What point guard is
than him.
averaging 33 points a game?
Hold, please.
The only
You
point
can't
guard
even
that I
think
want to
of a
hear.
point guard.
The only point guard I want to even hear.
Is
in this
Luka a point
conversation
guard?
is Ja. No, he's not.
No, he's not.
Even though he is the starting point guard of the Dallas Mavericks.
He's a combo guard, but okay, fine.
Is
If
he
you want
listed?
to-
If you go to point guards, is he there?
If you
No.
want to, I
He's not
mean,
there.
whatever.
That's
you
why I'm
want to.
asking.
No, I'm saying you could say, oh yeah, he's starting at point guard, but when you go to rankings
If you
and where
go
he
to,
is,
if
is
I
he
were to go to
point guard?
ESPN right now, they have him ranked as a point guard.
He's point guard.
He is a point guard.
All right.
Is
And
Luka?
he
Is
is-
Luka's a point guard?
He's averaging
yeah, he's technically a point guard.
33 points a game.
So there's one other person.
I mean, I can keep looking if you'd like.
Yeah, but we already have
Did you
Luka.
purposely look for Luka, or did you just?
But we have Luka.
No, I said Luka because I knew off the top of my head Luka averages 33 points a game.
Okay, but you weren't sure he was a point guard though.
That's what I'm saying. Are we calling him a point guard? Because
Yeah, he's a point guard.
he's a point guard. He's literally what they do is he is a point guard.
I mean, that's what I said. You could just use Luka. It's fine. I think that's fine. I think Ja's a point guard too, right?
I mean, I didn't think Luka playing the point when Dinwiddie was there because
Yes, because Dinwiddie
Yeah,
was
he was.
yeah, Dinwiddie's a two.
Dinwiddie was the off guard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. He might. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's a
That's
good
not
point.
scoring 30.
Ja averages 27.
Yeah,
He's not averaging 30.
he's the only one I could think that was close enough in my mind. Outside of him, maybe I'm thinking of. I mean, who else? At the one?
What's Kyrie doing? 27?
He's in
Kyrie's
the 20s.
27.
He's definitely 20s. He's definitely in the 20s. Kyrie's in the 20s.
Mm.
'Cause you gotta
Shai
look-
Gilgeous-Alexander,
Mm.
31.
He's been having a great year too.
That would be my argument against best
not
point guard in
33.
basketball right now has been him.
Shai's been
Shai's
awesome.
balling.
Shai's been awesome.
Yeah, I don't know about I don't know about best point guard though.
No, but like if we're gonna talk about the best like point guard in basketball, he deserves to be in that conversation.
But
And
Oh,
as
yeah,
much
yeah.
as much as Mike would hate this, James Harden also deserves to be in that conversation.
I mean, if
He's
we're
been
putting
playing.
everybody at point guard, then we
Oh.
can.
But James Harden is actually a
My
point guard.
God, Mike. Wow.
He is actually
My
a point
God,
guard.
Nick.
Why is that so crazy when James Harden apparently has played two guard for most of his career that I would consider him a two guard?
He
Yeah, he
hasn't
has played
played
two
two
guard.
guard
He's a
in
combo
He's
guard.
been a
years.
combo.
He's a combo.
James
hasn't
Harden
played
as a
two
two guard
guard
led
in
the
Combo
NBA
years.
guards.
in
But why are y'all getting offended that I'm saying he's a two guard when we've seen him play two guard? Like, what do we
Yeah,
get?
he's a combo guard. He's a combo guard.
Since the year he led the team in assists on the Rockets. He hasn't played two guard,
James, he was
and
the-
it's been like
well,
7
when
years,
he
Mike.
had to play the
It's
two
been like
guard
7
when
years.
he had Russ
And Chris Paul.
But that's
It's
just
been like
because you needed
7
to have
years,
that.
Mike.
But it's been
Come
a while.
on, man. If that's your argument, that is ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous, James. You know he's a two guard. You know he's a two
He
guard.
is a
that plays
point
both.
guard, bro.
He plays both
It's-
positions.
What? All right, before
He plays both
this
positions.
season,
Doesn't
this
Giddy
season,
play the
LeBron
point guard as well too? Sometimes on
Giddey
that
LeBron
Thunder
James
team.
point guard.
He's a point forward.
Yeah, right. He
point
plays
forward.
the point
Let me
forward
ask you a question,
position,
Mike. Before this season, what position did Ben Simmons play before the Brooklyn Nets?
He
Point
did that
forward.
same point forward.
No,
Same
he was the
thing,
point
but
guard.
He was the
that
point guard,
It's
but
that point forward
Point
position.
he was point guard.
He
but
was the point guard.
He was the point guard. They didn't play him at the four.
Not when he
Yeah.
has the ball, when he has
Should've.
another point guard on the floor with him. Like, that's what I'm
does it
asking.
matter?
So
He was the
are we
point guard.
considering
He was the
LeBron
point
James
guard.
a point guard then? Is that what
Point
we're doing?
forward.
He's not the point guard.
He does the exact same thing.
No, he was not
He
listed.
does the exact
a
same
point
thing as
guard.
Ben Simmons.
This is
He
why I
wasn't
asked.
listed
This is
as
why
the
I
point
asked
guard.
Dylan.
So that's what we're doing. He wasn't listed
But
as
Ben was
point
listed
guard,
as a
so
point
he's
guard,
not
wasn't
the
he?
point
Yes,
guard.
Ben was
that's the
listed at
argument
point
I'm
guard.
making. That's why I
Okay.
said James Harden
Okay.
hasn't
So,
played
is it-
two guard in years.
because he's not listed there. Because he's listed there. That's your argument. Because that's where he's listed. Okay.
That was my.
That's-
This is why I just asked Dylan, what position is Luka listed as? Right, Dylan? Didn't I ask that?
Point guard.
That's
So
why
that's
I
what he is. He's also not a point
Blurred
forward. He's
lines.
a-
Blurred
he's a point
lines.
guard.
Well, Luca actually is literally the point guard in the lineup.
6'7".
They have him
Not
Magic
point
Johnson
forward.
was 6'9".
Not point
Magic
forward.
Johnson was
point
6'9".
guard because he's listed
Wait.
as point guard.
Guard.
Magic Johnson was 6'9" and was a point guard.
Yes,
Point
that's
guard.
correct.
Penny Hardaway was 6'8" and was listed at point guard.
That's
Correct.
Point
correct.
guard.
Ben Simmons
Also
is
correct.
6'10".
So then we're going to
Listed at
call
point
LeBron
guard.
James a point guard. Then he's the greatest
Also,
point
When was
guard
the
of
last
all
time
was
time.
LeBron
not
James was listed as a point guard?
I don't
not
care
listed
what
as
he's
point-
listed as. That's what I'm telling you. I don't care what he's
That's an
listed
opinion.
as.
That's
Y'all
an
are
opinion
hanging on what
and
he's
not a
listed
fact.
as.
That's an
Y'all are
opinion
holding
and not a
on
Well, no,
to
I'm
what
hanging-
he is listed as
I'm
if
hanging it
that's
on
the end
where
all
in
be
the
all.
basketball lineup he is playing,
That's an
who he's playing
opinion,
defense
They
on,
not a
are
and
fact.
who's
playing
he
the
attacking on
exact
offense.
I'm gonna say
same
this.
position,
I'm gonna say this.
and you're telling me LeBron isn't, but they are because LeBron isn't listed as
Does
point
LeBron
guard.
play
When they-
defense
I'm about to
does
say-
the
on point
same
guards,
exact
or is
thing.
he play defense
When
on
they-
forwards?
All you have to ask yourself is when they do the intros in the game, what are they listed as? When they come out for the intro,
Guys,
starting
y'all want to
point
have
guard.
it? Y'all want to play this literal
Hey,
stuff?
Mike,
Hey,
when you
y'all
turn
got
on
it.
2K and they
Y'all
show
got
the
it.
list of the players
Don't
next to each
say
other,
very
go to
cool.
2K now. Where are they?
Cool.
Who's the point guard
That's
for
cool.
the
That's
Lakers?
not fair though, because you can do some funny stuff in 2K. You know, you can right before the game starts. You know what I'm
I used
saying?
to put
Nah,
LeBron
nah,
James
you
at
go to-
small
go-
at point
go to
guard in
2K now.
fucking
Go to
2K14, and
Go
just
to
sit
2K
Mario
now.
Chalmers sat ass down. LeBron,
Starting
Wade,
point guard
Battier,
The
Ron,
LA
Wade,
Lakers.
Allen, Battier,
the
Bosh.
Cleveland Cavaliers.
I can put guys
Yeah.
at whatever position I want to, but whatever.
Matthew.
It matters where they're listed. It really does. Granted, we acknowledge a point forward as something different because they still play the forward position.
The game in the NBA Finals in Magic Johnson's rookie year when he started at center,
He was the center.
he
was
didn't
center.
run the point that game though.
At
What?
times he did.
At times, he was listed at the center position. But that still goes back to your point of LeBron being the forward of the team and playing the point in the game, but he's not the point guard listed on the team. When you look
Did
at
you
the
know Ben
bracket
Simmons
or the
has started
stat
games
sheet-
at point guard and then got subbed in to play center this year?
LeBron plays center too.
Yeah,
He's also the greatest center of all time. Ross, if you didn't know that.
Yo, what?
Yeah, no.
What are you
I will not
talking
give you
about?
that. I
He
will
plays
not give you
center, he
that.
plays power forward, small forward, everything but point guard. Because LeBron doesn't start at point guard.
If LeBron played his whole career at center, he's probably a top 10 center.
No.
But yes, absolutely.
No.
Kick what's his face out that Anthony loves to defend.
Oh
Fucking,
God.
George
Oh.
Mikey. Kick George Mikey the fuck out.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say Will. All right, never
No, George Mike.
How
Get
would
George
he
Mike
kick
the
Wilt
fuck
out?
mind. Because when Dylan was saying like, "Oh, this guy Anthony loves him."
No,
I'm
fuck Will, but no, Will's is a top 10 center.
Come on,
There's
come
no denying that.
on.
like
No,
these,
get George Mike the fuck out of there.
No, but these greatest all-time lists are like, it's the same thing when it pertains to like hip hop, sports, and all that. It's like, what are you going off of? Like, are you going off of just talent, or are you going off of talent and influence? Like, it depends on what you're going off.
I don't give a fuck about influence when I'm ranking how good a player is.
Some
Why do
people
I give
do.
a fuck? I don't. I don't give a
fuck
about
This guy
influence.
does. This guy does.
Wait. What do you use, Dylan?
I use tape
And
I use stats.
okay.
I don't use influence. George Mikan was the first center. That's why he's always in Anthony's top 10 everything. Who fucking cares? He can't name the first point guard.
I mean, he still played good ball too. He didn't just have one.
He's not better than Dwight Howard. And he's not better than Dwight Howard.
Are his numbers better than Dwight Howard?
No, they're not.
Then yeah, he's not better than Dwight Howard.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm not comparing somebody.
It's very simple to me. I'm just simple.
I'm not comparing.
Very simple for me.
I'm not comparing somebody.
Wait, Anthony.
That's
wait,
it. It's as simple as that.
It's just
It's
that
always that
simple,
simple
Russ.
for me.
It's just that simple.
It's that simple, man.
So LeBron
here we
James is
go.
the greatest player of all time.
No, because he's not. Because I already provided those stats.
How?
He's not the
How,
best.
sir? How is he not the best, sir?
Because I provided the stats, and he's not better
What
than
stats
Michael
did you
Jordan in all the
provide
categories.
that LeBron James is not the best basketball player we've ever seen?
Does he have more?
What stat?
Does he have more championships than Michael Jordan?
That's the only stat. Championship.
Does he have more
That's
Finals
an
MVPs
Does he
than
have
Michael
more
Jordan?
points?
Get
Does he
him,
have more
Raz.
Does he
points
have
than
more
Get him.
Michael
Finals
Jordan?
MVPs than Michael Jordan?
Does he have more points than Michael Jordan?
Does he have more Finals MVPs than Michael Jordan?
No.
Okay. Does he have more Defensive Player of the Years than Michael Jordan?
No.
Okay.
Get
Does he,
him.
does he have more all defensive stats than Michael Jordan? Does he? Does he have more all defensive?
All defensive.
Was he?
Team?
Did he make the all defensive team more than Michael Jordan?
No.
Okay. All right.
Mr.
Got
D
any
more.
more?
It's just a little bit.
I have plenty in my bag. I got
He's
plenty in my
telling
bag.
you,
That's
That's my point. But that's
right
my
now.
point.
You done? 'Cause I got plenty in my bag.
Listen, but that's my point is they all start coming in and you can pick a bunch of stats from both Mike's career and LeBron's career. So far, the good thing is LeBron's career is still not over, so he can always make up the ground. But there comes a time when the big heavy hitter stats come out. And I mean, this one's huge though, right? Like leading all time in scoring is another one of those huge stats, right? That where for me, it's like, I feel like if he wins another one, then I think he's better than Mike. If he wins another championship, he's better than Mike because Mike is not the all-time leading scorer. That's a huge, huge domino that Mike can't do anything about. I don't care what Ant says. If he wins number 5, I can give him that. But number 4, come on, man. Like you're still like Timmy. You're still like near Timmy, and you're not even near like, you know what I'm saying? You're still
power forward ever.
You're still all right. He can be
Here's
the
my
great.
problem
He
with
can be
some
the
of the
greatest.
stats that you
All right,
threw
he can
out.
be the greatest power forward ever. That's fine with me. I can take 100%.
I just
100%.
want because he
100%.
has more points than Michael Jordan, right?
Uh-huh.
He has more rebounds than Michael Jordan, right?
Yeah, okay.
He has more assists than Michael Jordan, right?
Okay.
He has more 3-pointers than Michael Jordan, right?
I
Yes.
don't know that. Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
He does.
I don't know, but I'm willing to bet if Dylan checks right now, he'd have more steals than Michael Jordan. Those are the 5 major categories, are they not?
Okay.
He has more than him in all 5 of those categories.
In the regular season.
He has more playoff points than Michael Jordan. He has more playoff rebounds than Michael Jordan. He has more playoff assists than Michael Jordan. He has more
All-time
playoff
leader.
game winners than Michael Jordan. He has
All-time
more
leader.
series wins than Michael Jordan. He has more playoff wins than Michael Jordan. He has more finals appearances than
Can I ask you a
Michael Jordan.
question? Can I ask
He
you a
has more
question?
conference finals
Can I ask you a
appearances than
question,
Michael
though?
Jordan.
What about that
Here we
shit?
go. Here we go.
Playoff appearance?
Rasmus, since he named his finals championships.
But wait. When Michael Jordan went to the finals, how many times did he win?
Does anybody have a mic?
Basketball is a
Can we get a
team
mic drop here?
Wait, no.
Can we get a mic drop here?
Stop. There's been plenty of teams over the course of the history of the NBA, right? How many of those said teams have won the finals every time one person has entered the finals?
Detroit
many?
Pistons.
How many?
Detroit Pistons.
So the Detroit Pistons won every single time they went to the finals, right?
Yeah, Isaiah Thomas. Detroit Pistons.
How many times
No,
have they
they
went to the finals?
didn't.
They're 3-0.
They didn't win every time they went to the NBA Finals. They lost to the Spurs.
Actually, you're right, James. The Pistons are 3-0. Are they the greatest franchise in history?
They beat the Bulls, the Celtics, and the Lakers. They're undefeated 3 times. Sorry,
They lost to the Spurs.
They beat the Lakers twice, and they beat Portland.
They lost to the Spurs in the finals.
Oh,
how you forget that? They went to the finals the year after.
Detroit is undefeated going to the finals, guys.
Correct,
what are we talking
right?
about
And
here?
how many does Isaiah have?
How many does Isaiah have?
2.
Huh?
How many does Isaiah have?
Answer the question.
He's undefeated going to the finals, right?
Correct, but I'm asking you, how many did Isaiah have?
2. He has 3 or 2?
2.
2.
All right, now let's roll back the clock a little bit. How many does Michael Jordan have?
He has 6.
How many times has Michael Jordan gone to the finals and won?
6.
Cool. How many MVPs has he won in the finals?
6.
Okay.
You asked the question. You said how many times has a player done that, and I was just giving you a response to that question.
And I said fine. And I said let's rewind the clock. And I said how many does Isaiah have? How many does
I'm trying. Now my next question is now, where's the context of asking that first question?
Because the point I was trying to make is Mike said it's a team sport, and I agree with him, right? And then I said, well, how many teams in NBA history have gone undefeated? And you gave me the Detroit Pistons. You gave me a team, the Detroit Pistons. So as of right now, we can name only 2 teams. I'm sure Dylan is looking up to see if there's any more other teams, but I will be very clear on this. It's not very apparent. It's not very obvious. And I would argue that you could probably count it on one hand. There's been one person out of all those teams that have gone 6 times and have won not only 6 times, he's also won finals MVP 6 times. That's 100%. Now, let me bring a parallel to you. Joe Montana has won every single time he's gone to the Super Bowl. 100%. I'm sure there have been players, whether it's been 1 time, 2 times, or 3 times in the history of the NFL, that have gone to the Super Bowl and won it. They've never won it 5 times, even though both teams, both sports, are all team sports. It does mean something that you win every single time as the number 1 player on both squads.
Team.
Name me any playoff series, any final series that Michael Jordan wasn't the best player on the entire court. Where? When? What finals? What final series?
While Dylan looks that up, I have a question for you, Dylan. Are there stats on how many times Joe Montana played in the postseason and didn't make it to the Super Bowl?
Of course, there's stats on that. What does that have to do with what I said, though?
Because we tend to forget Michael's failures when we recognize.
No. Because I didn't talk about Michael's failures. I'm well aware of Michael's failures.
No, but we ignore it.
Well, I'm not ignoring anything. I'm asking you.
Why didn't you mention them?
Because I'm talking about the finals.
Because you ignored him.
Because he has no failures in the finals.
But that's
the only time when it matters.
Wait. Time out. Again, let's rewind the clock, because I was very specific.
The Bulls are the only team to never lose in the finals.
Thank you.
Ever.
So let's make
as
that
a team who has made the finals more than one time.
Let's make that very clear. That's
so
now,
the minimum
now,
is at least 2 appearances to qualify for that.
All right. So let's make that very clear. He's also done it twice, 2 3-peats. He's done 2 3-peats and still been the best player on the court. And LeBron James has been the best player on the court, arguably in the majority, and you can even argue all of them that he's gone to the finals. Yet he's still lost.
Mm-hmm.
He's
How
not
many times?
100%. Michael Jordan was always the best player on the court in every single final series that
He also
been
played in
in.
an era where GMs were fucking stupid.
Okay, no. It's time out.
Oh, God.
We're not going to do
Let's
this.
give context.
Oh,
No. Era differences as well.
No.
It's not a bad
No.
argument.
It's
It's
not
not a
We're
bad
not going to
argument.
do this.
It's not a bad
That's a
argument at all.
horrible argument.
We're not going to do
Of
this.
course. So you
Let's
stay the course.
Let's stay the course.
I will
And
stay the
so
course,
you-
and then I will joust.
No, we're not going to talk about the Wilt isn't very good because he played with plumbers. That's garbage. That's the same. That's the
not why
same
Wilt
rhetoric.
isn't
That's the
good.
same rhetoric. That's garbage. You know why?
That's not why Wilt
You
isn't
know
good.
why? Because at the time, these players were just basically just like inside of their parents. They weren't even a thought. So even the players that we know right now weren't even alive. And you got to play who's in front of you. And you play. I mean, they can't fast forward and just be like, hey, let me just drop Wilt inside of this time frame.
Wilt's
Or
bad
take LeBron,
because he got dog walked by one player.
I
his
mean, Bill
entire
Russell.
career.
Bill
That's
Russell's.
why Wilt
Bill
is
Russell's.
bad.
But Bill Russell's also.
But it's not just one player. It's
It's
Bill
not just
Russell.
one play. It's
Oh,
Bill
it-
Russell.
It's Bill Russell.
I'm sorry,
what I'm
he
trying
got
to
owned by
say,
the
like,
Celtics
that
his entire career.
that argument is hollow because
It's
it's
not
like,
hollow.
It's hollow because.
It's not hollow because even when he was in Philadelphia, dog walked by the Celtics.
But what I'm
And
trying to say
the
is
Warriors
like
dog walked by the Celtics,
you play who's in front
and
of
then
you.
the
right?
Lakers dog walked by the Celtics.
How do you like? Listen. How
Hey,
do you
he actually won.
Listen.
He won with
How do
the
you
one.
know? How do you know 10 years? Like, do you think Wilt Chamberlain knows like 30 years from now, LeBron James is going to be that guy that comes in the league and just basically is the
That
best
has
player?
no context to anything in which I'm saying.
It does because you're
It
saying
doesn't.
that he played against inferior talent, but that's the talent that's there. Like,
That's no, it's not.
you
I'm
don't-
not saying he
but
played. So if you let me establish my argument, then maybe we could know what I'm fighting for and not just assume I'm saying
so
he
go ahead,
played
go
against
ahead.
trash cans.
So go ahead. What's the point of saying that?
So
then?
in the entire 90s, there was only 3 good GMs in the entire fucking 80s and 90s. Let's go there. There's only 3 good GMs the entire time that are able to
Okay.
build through the draft or acquisitions. So we're going to go ahead and never really let people become free agents because their contracts were long as shit. Only 3 teams drafted correctly in the Lakers, the Celtics, and the Bulls
Okay.
in order to have dynasties. Whenever free agents came, they were only role players. You never went and you built around. You never went and let superstars come and join other superstars the way they do now.
Okay.
Right. So from the entire 2000 and let's say 6, right before they start to really establish this super team era in the current NBA, which we know now,
and dealing with other teams like that,
and dealing with more teams who are you have, I think, close to 10 teams in the last 20 years who have decided to, hey, we're just going to get the best superstars and put them on one team, where you had GMs who wouldn't even think about trying to go and pair up a Magic and a Bird, a Scottie Pippen, who, again, people like to forget, is a top 25 player of all time and the second best player of that generation, was on his team. So you were never able to go and package your guys. Let's say you go to the Supersonics, right? Well, since they faced the Supersonics once, you had Gary Payton, you had Sean Kemp drafted, but you didn't go and get them a third guy of the caliber of a Dennis Rodman, because we're not going to sit here and lie that Detlef Schrempf is the same caliber of player of Dennis Rodman. No, but that's just not how GMs and how the league operated. So now you have to evolve the game into a space that it was, where at that time the Bulls were, because Dennis Rodman becomes available and the only team to match up to go and get him to add to this team that is already great are the Bulls.
Yeah, but are you arguing? Like, this will be clear.
I'm arguing that front offices didn't try to build a team to beat Mike. They decided to be stubborn and say that the teams that they had were good enough
Get
to do
better.
it when they were
Well,
not.
just
So
get
you're arguing that the state of basketball was inferior than it is to it where it is now, right?
Yes.
Let me
Yes.
let me retort with this. In order to evolve, there has to be a reason. There has to be some type of catalyst, correct?
Yeah, and that catalyst as to how the
Uh-huh.
NBA changed was LeBron James.
No. So the game changes over time. It's not just LeBron James is here. The game is automatically changing. That wouldn't be a fair
That's
and
not
a
what I
truthful
said.
argument.
So
But I'm just saying, like, again, right? In order to evolve, you must have something as a template to evolve from, right? And if at the time, right, like we have 4K, we have all these other things that evolves from the fact that we had 480p as the best thing that was going at some time, right? So where I'm going with this is you're saying that the state of basketball was worse, but to them, that was just the state of basketball. That was the best
because
thing that
nobody
they had.
decided that, hey, this team just won 3 in a row. Let's fucking stop them by go and get better.
But see, that's revisionist history. It is what it is, right? And then things evolve from there.
Nobody knows what you don't know.
But at some point,
that's
but also,
the thing.
I also say this: at some point, there wasn't even a 3-point line. So are you telling me that
Whoa!
the guys? No. Listen. Are you saying that the guys who were there at that moment, who wanted to play basketball and were NBA players, should just say, you know what? We should probably have another form of scoring. Let's just pack up our bags and let's just go ahead and sit home until they evolve
GMs
into
have that
something.
Power to change that? Or
But
no, they
GMs
don't.
come and go. But listen. Before,
and that's the problem.
But the thing is, Dylan, they're the GMs for that time.
My problem isn't with the league as a whole. My problem is with the team structure of
the
basketball.
Team structure is what it is at that time. What do you want them to do?
So
that's all they know.
And even when they decided to kind of like change it up and figure it out, they went and they got guys who were washed to join together and never played.
It's like saying, how come in the 1990s there wasn't 4K TV? What's wrong with them? Don't they think 480p
technology
sucks?
and team building are a little different?
No, technology is akin to like human evolution. You're talking about human beings being in positions to do the best that they can.
So
it's
why
like they're
is
doing
it
the best that
when
they can?
A guy comes around 10 years later?
Because it's 10 years later.
No, let me finish my thought process. A guy who comes around 10 years later is doing the same exact thing, dominance. You then decide to change the blueprint of how a team is built.
But that's not fair because the league has been changing.
It's very fair because the team that started that is the Boston Celtics.
Listen, the league was changing between that 10-year gap. It's not say the league was just static. That's not true. The league has been changing in those 10 years in between.
On how teams were structured?
No, I'm trying to tell you the state of the game. Like, in order for something to happen,
my problem is not the state of the game. My problem is the state of team building and
but team building evolves too. Team building evolves too. The idea that
the 90s GMs decided to construct teams the way teams constructed to face LeBron James, the way they constructed to face Michael Jordan.
But they didn't. They
and that's
they were
my problem.
The way they were.
And that's my problem.
That's not on Mike.
I'm not saying that's on Mike. I'm not saying that's on
the
Mike.
game. Like that doesn't.
It's a difference in eras.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
It's a difference in eras, and that's why the whole 6-for-6 in the NBA Finals is stupid. Because Mike never played.
Stupid.
Because Mike never played the 2017 Golden State Warriors.
Well, how could he? They don't exist. They don't exist.
It's such a
collection
stupid
of
argument
talent,
because
ladies and gentlemen,
the collection of talent that was put together by a GM in the modern era. Wow. Every time LeBron James has been to the finals, he has faced a team constructed to beat him.
Epic level reaching.
Constructed.
I understand this argument now. At first, it was kind of hard to follow it. I understand it now, but yeah.
Every team that LeBron has had issues with was constructed to beat LeBron James and the team that is there. There is not a single team that Michael Jordan faced in his career that was constructed to beat him.
Yeah, they just happened to be a pretty good team, and it was like, all right, we're rolling the dice because we know we're gonna.
So, but you started off by saying that it's the GM.
It's the GM's fault,
and their fault for not doing and taking an opportunity that they had to construct the team.
The problem is,
but
basketball.
So
they didn't know that they could go and try to get better than Michael Jordan.
Okay, so now you're blaming them for not knowing something that they should have known, but they don't. You don't know what you don't know.
Poor GM work, poor roster construction. That's my problem with
relative to now. Like, so at the time,
relative
though,
to
they
at
felt
the
it was
time.
adequate, and no one was saying that they were terrible for doing that.
They're lucky I wasn't watching.
But again, the argument that you're doing is also, and I bring it back to the whole like they play against trash can things, because it's like, hey, you got this guy who's so much bigger than everybody else. Why not everyone just basically just construct the rosters at that time to just face this guy and to hamper him? But if you don't have
King
the
Kong
talent
coming to destroy your city,
correct,
what do?
But if
you go get a giant monster to stop him from destroying the city,
correct,
right?
And
the GMs in the 90s did not go get a giant monster to stop King Kong.
But still, right? But still, you see the game evolving. So you start seeing the Sean Bradleys, people taking more chances on just tall people. You start seeing people, even though they're not good, they just start picking people who are tall. Like you start seeing the Sean Bradleys.
And then we get to the point where Danny Ainge decides
the Yao Mings, all these guys start coming in
to go and get Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen.
But what I'm trying to but you're missing my point. My point is Mike faced the teams and the talent that was built around the league, and he beat them. Whether you're saying that the amount of competition, but listen, if you're saying
everything was perfect for Mike,
I'm not arguing. I wouldn't say it's perfect. That's not being truthful.
Nothing was perfect.
No, nothing was not perfect.
Why wasn't it perfect? Besides, like his personal situations and him retiring.
So listen, so when he loses,
every situation for him was perfect.
So when he loses
1990 hit.
So when he loses to the Detroit Pistons,
that's why I said when 1990 hit.
But I'm just saying, like, his whole career hasn't been perfect.
No,
he
because
got better, and he actually became the man that we know now, who was
in
Michael
1990.
Jordan.
And from 1990 to the rest of his career, before, but with the Bulls, because we don't like to acknowledge the Wizards. 1990 for the remainder of the 90s, everything for Michael was perfect.
It was not.
He had the perfect scenario. He had the perfect coach. He had the perfect GM. He had the perfect role players. He had the perfect matchups.
But
always.
But see, you have parallels to that, right?
The only other team in the 90s that won never matched up with him.
But I mean, whose fault? I don't understand what you're saying. Like,
it was
you're
all
saying that in hindsight, though.
Like, I know. Look at me. I'm you. I'm discussing hindsight.
I mean, I'm not saying that I'm not using hindsight, but I understand that. I understand what hindsight is, though. You're operating as if you're living
now that we can look at his
worlds at the same time, and that's
now
not
that you
possible.
look at everything as a whole, because Michael's career is this myth.
It's not a myth. It happened.
No, it's this mythological
How is it mythological? How is this?
You're not understanding what I'm saying. Maybe if you stop cutting me off when I'm talking, I can explain what I'm saying. He's become this mythological hero like Hercules, the way his career is. Like, it's legendary, his career.
It is.
But
legendary.
Then you realize when you read the book, everything was perfect after 1990. Every situation he had was perfect.
So let me ask you this. If LeBron James was right now, the same way he was over the same amount of career and had the same level of athletes that Michael Jordan had, and he ran the table, you would still call LeBron James the best player of all time.
Can you say that again? I didn't understand.
If LeBron James had the same talent that was facing him that Michael Jordan had, and he was the same man that he was over the course of his career, and he won 6 in a row, you would say that he is the best player of all time.
Is he facing the same level
of talent? The same level of talent. The same level of talent.
Kareem. Because that's what I'm pounding now. Because that's the table I'm pounding now.
But that's the point that I'm saying, right? Is like,
because I think this Jordan.
The only reason why we've peeled the onion as far back as we have to start saying, oh, now the talent isn't whatever it is right now, is because of recency bias. Because people want LeBron James to be the best so bad.
I want Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to be the best.
That they have to say to themselves.
That's not true.
It is true. It's true. It's true. It's true.
So you're going to tell
you're going to tell
me.
Let me tell you why.
You're going to tell me that 1997 Utah Jazz team is better than them Tim Duncan Spurs teams?
No, I'm not saying that.
So
I didn't say that.
But LeBron played those Spurs.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. But what I'm trying to tell you is this. But what I'm telling you is this, Mike, is that Spurs team is only, because see, what you guys don't understand is the way that the game is the way it is now is because of all the iterations of it that have come before it. That's what I'm trying to make very clear to you. There is no LeBron James and his talent being the ultimate, like he isn't able to dominate the way he does if the game isn't led up to where it is right now, where you can say, I'm going to take a LeBron James drafted number 1 in high school. We're not going to say, hey, listen, we're not going to change the rules to be like, listen, like, for him. No, listen, I'm trying to tell you something. Let me finish. You're not going to have to change the rules because you're saying, oh, all these kids now are coming out uber athletic and uber talented, and we're going to stop them from coming out of high school for a little bit. We want them to go into college because we know that they're so athletically gifted that they don't even need to bother to go to the college sports. They don't need to bother to go to the college team. So now the college team, who's our number 1 funneler of talent, is now losing their grip on all that talent. LeBron James and him coming out was literally like a watershed zeitgeist moment for the NBA. You've never seen anyone that athletically gifted and that talented actually reach their potential to that level. We've always seen guys who've come out and been very good to good, but never a person where you say, this guy has potential to be the best player of all time. And then he goes ahead and he actually lives up to that possibility. It was always the same thing. You had the guys come out of college, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But listen, basketball changes because it evolves, and that's based upon how it was before, right? So now you have a guy like Michael Jordan come in, and he wins 2 3-peats. He goes ahead and releases a shoe that literally changes the whole fabric of culture across the entire world. And then he's on top of that, he sets the stage for guys like LeBron James. He sets the stage for guys like Kobe Bryant, for Ja Morant and everything. I'm trying to tell you is that without Michael Jordan, there is no LeBron James.
No, that's not true.
That is true. 100%.
That's not true.
100%.
That's not true. Do you want to know why that's not
100%.
true?
And you know what? LeBron James will tell you that. LeBron
you want to know why
James
that's not true? LeBron is a liar. You know he'd be lying. They call him LeCap for a reason.
That's cap.
They call him LeCap for a reason.
That's cap, though.
You want to know why? Because we saw a different iteration of LeBron James in 1980. In what, 1980?
There has been no LeBron James.
There has been an iteration of LeBron James.
No, he's one of one.
And his name is Magic Johnson. And his name is Magic Johnson.
Magic is not LeBron James.
There is no LeBron without Magic Johnson because there's no league without Magic Johnson.
I can agree with you that, though. I can agree with you on that. But I also agree with you that
there's absolutely a LeBron James without
LeBron
Michael
James
Jordan.
101. No, there's never been
absolutely
LeBron James.
It's not Michael Jordan. Do you know who there's not?
There's
if
never
there's no Michael Jordan,
James.
There's no Kobe Bryant if there's no Michael Jordan.
Oh, of course. There's no LeBron James either, though.
There is a LeBron James without Kobe
there
Bryant.
isn't.
I mean, without Michael Jordan. There absolutely is.
LeBron James' idol growing up was not Magic Johnson, it was Michael Jordan.
Of course, because everybody fucking says that. He wasn't.
No, because listen, so you either take his word for you, like you're choosing and picking what he's saying. So now you're saying like I think he's telling the truth there, but he's not telling the truth here.
Cap.
He's
I'm just trying to figure out, are you arguing influence, Ross? Is that
no,
because I don't give a fuck about influence.
No, I'm not arguing influence. I'm just trying to tell you
what it sounds like.
No,
because that's exactly what he's doing. He's trying to say there's
that's not what I said. Now you're muddying the waters. What I said is that Michael Jordan, right, set the stage for LeBron James, not by influence, by his impact and by also what he did in the game.
And then you can say
you've never
Grant
had
was before Michael
up
Jordan.
To this point.
Before,
no one's been
LeBron.
able to challenge Michael Jordan but LeBron James.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
But people say Kareem was but people argued about Kareem before that. And then all of a sudden MJ became the consensus. And the reason why he became the consensus is because
it became recent and became recency bias.
No, that's not true.
So all the old heads started losing their grip on reality once all the Jordan people were watching Jordan the same way it's happening with LeBron right now.
That's not true. That's not true.
How isn't it true?
Because his stats, listen, at that point, it was like, listen, the finals MVPs coupled with the double three-peat, and also the fact that he was 100% in the playoffs as far as the finals concerned. That was the one that put him over the top.
But literally,
I said the final. But I said the finals.
Let's go. Who has more MVPs?
I'm gonna tell you right now.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or Michael Jordan?
I can tell you what stat really quick.
Different content. It's different time frames.
The reason.
We have to do the time frames for Kareem, but we don't have to do it for Mike and LeBron.
No, I talked about the whole thing. I just said it's different time frames. That's why you're saying that.
It's not the same
gyms,
thing. It's not the
Full
same.
gyms, all
circle
the other
once
stuff like
again.
that.
It's not the same. It's not the same.
They actually stopped. They actually started giving the crown to Jordan after his second ring when they said because the stigma was you can't win without a big. A guard can't win it all. You can't win without a big. And then he won it. And then he won it a second time. And they immediately pushed Kareem out the door, even though he only had 13,000 points. So, like, when we talk about the stats and stuff like that, you got to still look into the popularity factor as well. So when they look at the fact that they were saying that you can't win with a guard and he won twice, they when he did it twice, they automatically pushed Kareem out the door, regardless of what Kareem's past stats was. So you got to take in
Which is
And if you want
definitely
to talk
laughable.
influence as
But
well,
that's
there's a
when it
reason why they're going to take
starts.
the guy who's 7 feet tall, first overall pick, 99% of the time over the guy who's 6'4" every time because of the potential of that bigs have. That's why it's still like that to this day. That's why your James Wiseman still get picked number 1 overall when you have your Anthony Edwards right there, who is the better player, but the potential of a 7-footer influence that a big has is still chokeholding the NBA.
But it's just because of, like at the end of the day, what I'm saying? It's a
all
size.
recency
It's a
bias.
size. No, it's a size thing. And again, like I mentioned before, and James does make a good point about how the rhetoric had shifted as well, too, at some point because the league was changing. The idea of the league was changing. And guess who changes that? Michael Jordan.
David Stern.
No. But listen, then you're going to argue if...
I mean, no, because Mike was still the only guy to do it. And then the league went right back to bigs winning.
And my thing is,
Did they
he
not?
wins, and he goes on and wins 4 more championships.
But outside of Mike, who else won? From
Like
the
him?
2 years.
Like
No,
him?
guards don't win.
Like
so
him?
he
But he
changed for a
won.
period of time,
But
but
he
then the
won.
league went back. So he
But-
didn't change shit.
But he won.
But you said he changed the league. The league reverted right back to what it was.
No, but I'm trying to tell you, like, he also
Up until
won 4 more after that.
15.
Listen, Michael Jordan was the best thing in basketball, period, over the course that he won those 4 championships. Let's not get it twisted. Bigs or no bigs. Michael Jordan was the man in basketball. The man. Period. People are talking about putting the man on the logo.
We blame LeBron for playing with superior talent.
No, you don't blame. Listen, I blame LeBron for doing what he can against the competition that he has because that's the competition that he has. He can't go back and just say, "Let me play in
But you're holding it
Jordan's
against
level."
him that he's not undefeated.
No, but I'm just trying to tell you, I'm not holding it against him. I'm just telling you, it is
But
what
you
it
do
is.
when you say he didn't win.
It is
6
what
in
it
a row.
is. You're asking me why Jordan is better than him, and I'm telling him this is
And
why
and
he's better
you're
than him.
holding on to that 6
Yeah,
and
that
0.
and right there, you just said this.
But
You
see, my
just
thing is,
proved this
why is it
point in the same
okay?
sentence.
Why is it okay for us? Listen, as a parallel, why is it okay for us to hold it over Tom Brady's head that he wasn't a complete 100% like Joe Montana was?
They
and he
don't.
didn't
They
win?
don't. They
No,
don't.
they did. No, they did. No, they did. They did. Until he won
I haven't
more.
heard that.
Until he won more than Joe Montana, that's when he became the GOAT.
Which
It
was
wasn't
what?
the fact. Yes, it
That
was.
no.
It wasn't the fact that he tied Joe Montana that made him the GOAT. It's the fact that he beat Joe Montana in Super Bowls that made him the GOAT. Because if Brady stayed at 5, he wasn't the GOAT. And
Yes, he
everybody
was.
said that. No, he wasn't. You're capping now.
That's
Now
stupid.
you're doing recency bias.
I don't agree
But
with that either
but
way.
you can pull up
Russ,
every
when
article.
they went
You can pull up
16 and
every
0,
pundit. You can
They
put
were
everything.
crowning him the greatest player in
But
the
he
history
lost,
of football.
and when he
going
lost,
into that
and when
Super
he
Bowl,
lost in the Super Bowl, what they say?
it was the greatest upset.
It was the greatest
in the
upset
history
against
of
one of the
football
greatest
because
teams in all
God's
of
gift
football.
to football
He
lost.
wasn't the GOAT at that time.
Going into that game, he was the GOAT,
But
Russ.
at the end of that game, he was not the GOAT.
But then when they went
That's
back,
a dumb argument.
How's that a dumb argument? He wasn't the GOAT.
That's a dumb
He
argument.
was never mentioned as the GOAT after that.
He was.
yes, he was.
Yes,
when
he
they went
was.
back.
No, he
Yes, he was. What are we
No, he
doing?
wasn't. Tom
For
Brady
you to
was
say
not the
he was
GOAT.
the
Okay,
GOAT
Russ.
walking in, and then after he wasn't. No, he
Tom
was
Brady
just
was
the
not
GOAT
the
who
GOAT.
lost.
In 2007, Tom Brady was not the GOAT. In 2007,
They
Tom
went
Brady was not the
undefeated.
GOAT.
He was about to win his fourth ring and not
At 4
have a loss,
championships.
he was the GOAT. They was
And he
already
didn't win the 4th
crowning
championship
him.
then. And he didn't
They
win the
were
4th championship
crowning
then.
him.
And he was not the GOAT with 3 championships.
They were crowning Tom the way they crowned
Ross,
Mike.
they were crowning him the
If
GOAT.
he had won, they would have tried to crown him.
They were crowning him before that game because it was a foregone conclusion that they were going to win. So he was already
being crowned.
That was just the coronation.
If he
Ross,
won,
that game was a coronation of Tom Brady's greatest of all time.
Mike.
Wait,
that was what that game was.
He wasn't the GOAT at the time with 3 championships.
So all right, so now, if that is the argument, Roz, if they're saying that they're gonna crown him the GOAT if he wins that game to win his 4th ring,
because he beat the undefeated team, correct?
So then it goes to your point of he still didn't have more rings at that point in time.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. So I don't know where this revisionist history is, though.
The ring argument for any sport is stupid.
That's your opinion.
It's stupid.
It's just your opinion.
It's a stupid
it's your opinion, and it's
because
a very
one person doesn't win shit.
And you know what's crazy is that you're in the minority on that, though. And
that's fine.
And you've always known that, though.
That's fine because it's stupid. Because it is stupid.
And Mike knows that, and everyone else knows that. It's the de facto when we're talking about who's the greatest of any sport.
When you talk about an individual player in a team sport, a team accolade is the one thing everybody loves looking at. It's dumb.
Here's the sickest part, and I don't know why we're going to sit here and pretend, right? Lionel Messi was not considered the GOAT until he won this World Cup.
I don't know much about soccer. I can't.
I will not argue with you anything, but an individual in soccer,
Tom Brady, it's still a team sport. It's still a team sport. It's a team sport.
How many
team sport? It's a team sport.
But Roz, Messi wasn't the consensus greatest of all time, but there were plenty of people that had already crowned him the GOAT before this World Cup.
Let me ask you a question. Is Tom Brady the consensus greatest of all time quarterback right now?
Fuck Tom Brady. It's Peyton Manning.
Like I said, is he the consensus greatest quarterback all time right now, Mike? Yes or no?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When he had 3 championships, was he the consensus greatest of all time quarterback?
I live in Connecticut, so that's all I heard.
Forget
about Connecticut. No, he was not the greatest quarterback of all time with 3 championships. That's cap. That's cap. James, you're a Patriots fan during that time. Was he the greatest quarterback of all time?
Why does his opinion matter? Him being a Patriots fan, me living in New England with it happening live.
No. Because listen, it's very telling if someone from the team has a different idea of this, right? So I want to ask James. If he says yes, he says yes. But I'm curious.
And then your argument's going to move forward because it doesn't matter.
No. At 3 championships, was he considered the greatest quarterback of all time, or did he still have to win more to beat Joe Montana?
To me, because I was a Patriots fan, there was nobody under the sun that was better than Brady at that time. But when he lost, it had a lot of doubt. It had doubt because I was upset. But it was only about the loss. It wasn't about the talent. I'll be honest with you.
Of course, they wouldn't say he wasn't talented. I'm saying he wasn't the consensus.
And that's what it was. As far as talent-wise, I thought he was the greatest of all time.
He just lost.
We were upset about the loss.
Time out. You're saying Tom Brady with 3 championships was considered the greatest quarterback of all time, and you have freaking Terry Bradshaw sitting there with 5 championships, basically 4. I think he has 4 championships, just sitting in the wings, just basically sitting there tapping his feet on national television, saying, "Hey, listen, I have 4," and everyone's going to sit here and say he's the greatest with 3. Based on what?
You know why?
What?
You know how I can debunk
that?
Remember
what
when Denver went to the Super Bowl to play
category
Seattle?
Did he have that was so much above everyone else around the league?
Roz,
what is going on?
They was calling Barry Sanders the greatest running back of all time, and he retired after a couple seasons.
But why did they call Barry Sanders the greatest running back of all time?
Because of his talent.
Because he didn't have the record when he retired.
He did not have the record when he retired. But that was people saying that's the greatest quarterback I've seen. That wasn't consensus. That wasn't consensus.
Because of his talent.
But he wasn't the greatest running back, like
Well, it
Oh
wasn't.
my
It was
God.
based on it. What? But hey,
Oh.
Is Terry
listen,
Bradshaw a better
that's
quarterback
true.
than Aaron Rodgers
It's
because he
true.
won more Super Bowls?
They were calling him one of the greatest running backs they have ever seen, not based on winning because he didn't play that many seasons. It was based off of his natural talent that they seen with their eyes.
But
I
listen,
think
Tom
Barry Sanders
Brady.
has one playoff win.
My argument here
Actually, I don't think he does. I don't
is
think
that
Barry Sanders
Tom
has one
Brady
playoff win.
was not the consensus greatest quarterback of all time.
Raj,
At
they were talking about
2007 with
Peyton
3
Manning
championships.
being in the
That
same
is cap.
conversation with Tom Brady
That is cap.
before they got their doors blown
That's
off by
being
Seattle.
that's being made up for the sake of this argument. That is
Peyton
cap.
Manning was being crowned.
Tom Brady was not crowned the greatest quarterback of all time in 2007 with
They
his 3
were
championships.
kissing the ring of Peyton Manning before Seattle blew their doors off. Were they not?
No, they were saying he was the best quarterback in the league at that time.
No, Raz.
They
were
were saying he was
talking
the best
about
quarterback
him
on the team.
as one
They said
of
the best quarterback in the league.
greatest of all time. And I watched debates. I watched them argue, well, if Peyton Manning wins this one, can he have an argument with Tom Brady and Joe Montana? Because he'll have all the regular season records, and now he'll have 2 rings. Because it was a foregone conclusion. They were already crowning Peyton Manning, and then Seattle blew their doors off, and that was the end of that conversation.
Okay, so going back to what you said, when Tom Brady lost,
thing with Tom Brady going into that game against the Giants.
They keep saying going into that game, but he's not,
because you're saying that no one says that before then, but they were saying that before then.
But
that's
he
the
wasn't
point I'm making to you.
consensus. But it's not, a consensus is different though. If you ask anyone right now who's the greatest quarterback of all time, they will tell you it's Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm. Most people will tell you it's Tom Brady.
Most people in 2007 did not say the greatest quarterback of all time was Tom Brady.
If you were in Connecticut.
If you were in one state out of the great union that is the United States of America, sure.
Actually, if you were in a region of the United States, in the entire United States of America, New England,
okay,
which consists of many a state,
New England.
New England is a lot of Giants fans.
Small parts.
No, once you get
United
closer
States
to New
of
York,
America,
it's a lot of Giants fans. But when you get to Maine and all,
I'm in a group chat of like 15 people that are from Connecticut that are all Giants.
History.
Yeah, and what part of Connecticut are they from?
History, James. It's revisionist history.
West
Southern
Haven.
Connecticut? Southern Connecticut,
history.
correct. Closer to New York.
This is revisionist
Go ask
history.
people from West Hartford, Plainville, all those guys. They're all Patriots fans. I worked in that area. I worked in that area.
Dylan's right.
Patriots fans.
Because when
I
went
to Massachusetts, all Patriots fans. Then you get to Rhode Island.
Rhode Island is
Patriots fans.
Rhode Island is all Patriots fans. I went to Rhode Island.
My argument is
you said one state. It's many a state.
But it's still of the great union. The New England region makes up a small part of the entire nation.
And I'm sure if you go and ask anyone in fucking Duval County, Mark Brunell is the fucking greatest.
That's cap because they won't say that. They won't say that. But still, going back to what I'm saying, the idea that, I personally think, this is me personally, but I still don't think LeBron James is the consensus yet. The consensus greatest of all time. I think if he wins one more, he will be.
You know what's funny about that argument?
That's crazy.
You know what's funny about that argument? I don't think Michael Jordan is the consensus greatest player of all time.
I think he is right now. I think
he's
been for a while.
I think if you poll the nation,
he's been for a while.
You'd be surprised how many people will say LeBron James.
I don't think so.
I don't think you'd be. I think you'd be very surprised because it's a recency bias.
You'd be very surprised.
Well, at least y'all admit it's recency bias.
But it was a recency bias for Jordan too.
Which means that
yes.
I don't know about that.
Because the Kareem stuff got pushed to the side real quick.
I don't know about that.
Absolutely.
Now,
every era that has an
all heads, so we can have this argument, but calling Michael Jordan the consensus greatest player of all time, that ship has sailed, bro. That ship's gone.
You got a lot of LeBron fans.
I mean, you got a lot of LeBron fans, and that's fine.
The cream table.
Yeah, but the thing is, you got a lot of these people who love LeBron and think highly of him. They didn't see Jordan play. There are people who have seen Jordan and they've seen LeBron play, and they still say it's Jordan.
And there are people who have seen both play who say otherwise.
That's true.
Like
too.
you're not going to get a consensus. You're not going to get
That's
100% of 100%
That's what
people
I'm
who have
saying. There
watched
is
both
no
people play.
consensus that Michael
We'll say
Jordan is the
one
greatest.
person is
But
better
that, but
than
see,
the
that's
other.
days
but,
are
but see,
over.
but I think that it's still slightly skewed towards Jordan. That is my opinion. If you did have to poll everyone who's a basketball fan, I still think Mike edges him out. But again, that's my opinion. I think it's much closer than it's ever been now. And as someone who loves Michael Jordan and thinks that he is definitely the best player that I've ever seen, me personally, with the like go into the basketball arena and just basically just like win, like winner, Michael Jordan. But you know what? Like I told you guys, for me, if LeBron wins one more, that's it.
But that
So,
just doesn't make any sense because he would
I-
still have less than Michael. So like,
Yeah,
No,
I don't
So
understand that part, Raj.
So
We
I don't-
said it
I-
earlier because that all-time scoring
Yes,
record that he
thank you.
has
Thank you, Dylan,
is
for
such a
having me repeat
large
myself.
domino in the career accolades that makes up for what he doesn't have.
Yeah, but you have people right now that are already trying to dismiss that accolade from LeBron because
They
they
can't
blow
take
up.
that from
Nobody
him.
actually needs to try to take that away because that is the
You can't
stupidest
take
thing
that
to try
from
to
No,
do.
but again,
You
you
can't take
have,
those things
but
from people.
there's a large
can't.
group of people. There's large people who bring up the whole offensive output from today versus back then and
But
whatnot.
The
you
They make
game
that
has
argument.
changed.
do that. The game has changed. Again, what is going like people can't go back in time. People can't travel into the future. So you can only deal with the present. At present time, Michael Jordan does not own the league's all-time scoring record.
Never
LeBron
has.
James does. Right?
Fun fact, Anthony Michael never has owned that record.
And that
ever.
still didn't keep him from being the GOAT. It still didn't. And the championships still hover around LeBron James's head. Because even though he thinks that he is the greatest of all time, he knows that it isn't a consensus thing. And the only thing that would make it a consensus thing for him
If he won
in
7.
the eyes of the public is not if he won 7.
That's the
I
only thing that would
guarantee you,
change Anthony's mind.
he knows that if he
No,
won
because he
another
lost,
one,
so he wouldn't be able to do it.
he knows that squad.
Actually, Dylan's right.
Domino.
I know because you're a hater.
Shut up.
Like, listen, man. I'll be very clear with this, like, because sometimes this devolves into me like mitigating LeBron James and how great he is. I'm just saying he's not the greatest of all time, but LeBron James to me is like literally like the greatest athlete I've ever seen. Period. Point blank. People can argue Michael Phelps, and Five Phelps is up there too. But I mean, like me personally, LeBron James, I've never seen, and I probably will never see anybody like him again. But because of how the game goes, there's a chance there's possibility you might see someone who's athletically as talented, but not as basketball, like the
It's
full
tough
package.
because-
Can I? Hold on, wait, James. I know you're going to say something. Let me just say this real quick. Can I just ask one question? Why does it seem like Kobe's not allowed to be in this conversation? I just want to answer to that.
He is.
No, but
Nobody said
but you often hear LeBron. It's LeBron Jordan. I'm like, oh, what about Kobe? Why is he not deserving to be in this conversation?
It's not that he doesn't deserve to be in the conversation. It's just the thing about Kobe is, and I think this is where I think LeBron distances himself from Kobe, is the statistical output at this age and with the mileage that LeBron has on him is unprecedented, right? Even though I personally feel that he shouldn't be on the team, I feel like he certainly is doing something that we haven't seen since Kareem, and probably even beyond Kareem.
Never
Kareem.
seen this before, Raj.
Like we've never seen
Ever.
anything like this before, right?
Ever.
So it's different because
He's
Kobe
outputting
faded.
the closest 20-year performance by like 10 points a game,
Yeah,
and it's the craziest
Ever.
year
It's
20 ever.
ridiculous.
Yeah, like
what he's
he's
doing right now.
his output is like otherworldly. Kobe faded, right? Kobe faded. He started to fade, and I could argue if the Achilles probably didn't happen, maybe we would have got a lot more out of Kobe towards the end. But
Yeah, for
you know,
sure.
yeah,
He had a lot of injuries that prevented a lot of things. His Achilles, believe it or not, his fingers that played a big part.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
His knee.
Yeah, his
Talks
knees too.
He had a lot
LeBron.
of impacting injuries, and LeBron has been fortunate enough, even though he's been in and out, he's been fortunate to not have really many career altering injuries as well. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, he's really
Mostly
never
LeBron has
had
to
it.
worry out for his father time because the only injuries he's having is because his body isn't holding up like that anymore. So father time is slowly winning like round 4.
Yeah, and
I mean,
It's more like round 5.
yeah, and it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough because he knows, I think, in the back of his mind, those championships still loom. So I think what you're gonna see is a really more desperate LeBron James. I don't think he just kind of goes off in the sunset in the last like 3 to 4 years of his career. I think he fights and claws and screams to be able to get on some team, like to win to try to make up that ground with these last two. And I mean, he may get it, he may not, but it's going to be rough because to him in his mind, that's his largest hurdle. If LeBron James had 6 right now, LeBron James wouldn't try to take his career to like 45 or 43 or whatever he
Who
is.
knows?
That
Actually,
Bronny, I don't know. Maybe the Bronny thing is bigger than we
I would
believe,
say I think that Bronny thing is
it
very
is.
important
But
to him because that's also a legacy thing.
that's also a legacy thing, and we really haven't seen too much of
We've
stuff like
never
that of his
seen that
caliber.
before.
We've never seen that. But I also think if he had a choice right now, if he had won 6 championships and he was like, my body's breaking down, I can't do it anymore, I think he would. I think he would. I think he would be willing to retire, but he just
but at the
can't
same
now.
time, if he had 6 rings,
He's going for 7.
huh?
He'd be going for 7.
I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't think
yeah.
he would
I
have
don't
it
know.
then.
I agree with
I
Ross.
don't know
I
about
don't
LeBron the
know.
competitor enough
Like,
for me to understand that.
I think that if he
Uh,
had 6 rings, I think that he probably start to pull it back just a little bit.
mhm,
The output
mhm.
right now wouldn't be as high. He wouldn't be out there trying to average 30 points and stuff like
Correct.
that. And
Correct.
the longevity will be even more because now I'm just playing for the love of the game.
Mhm.
If I get myself in a position where I can possibly get that 7, then he may turn it up. But that's not the end goal at the end of the season for him if he's at
So,
6.
so I'm gonna ask this question, then I'm gonna table this because we actually still have a lot more to do.
Mhm.
If LeBron had this, so do you guys think that he's averaging these points and stuff because he's stat padding, or because A, he's still really good, and B, the Lakers aren't really good, and they need his competitive fire. He's trying to win these games, and they need him to play like that to win. Like if AD was doing what AD was supposed to be doing,
I think
I don't think
yeah.
LeBron's averaging.
That's why this
these
LeBron
I
points.
th-
injury
uh,
sucks
Yeah,
because
no, I think it's both.
yeah, it's B,
Both.
but I think it's a little bit more to that story.
I think before the record, it was more so A, but now it's more B. I'd say it's more
I
B
think
now.
I think it's B because they need him to put that output, but also to add to that story is he doesn't want to get bounced off not miss the playoffs 2 years in a row. So I think that the reason why he's giving that output is because he's desperate enough. He's because I am not going 2 seasons missing the playoffs. I don't even think it's been done for the Lakers for a superstar like that. So like I think he's trying to avoid that. I think that's the main thing. Getting there and like because they need him, I don't think that's probably the argument. The argument is him. I don't want to miss the playoffs again. Not 2 seasons in a row.
I mean, he's
Yeah.
gonna be gone at least 3-4 weeks.
That's why I hate this injury for LeBron and D'Angelo Russell
Mhm.
because we got to see like their first or second game together as a new team that LeBron finally got to be the guy who could who could score 21
Mhm.
and not have to carry a large burden. And it would have been great to see more of LeBron getting to take a step back while everybody else like plays their role.
Yep. And I think that'd have been. I think you would have geared him up, piggyback on Dylan and with James and what Ann said. Like we would have been able to see him be the facilitator again and play in that role. You would have saw him to get more, like load. Like they would have basically did some. They would have managed his minutes as well too on rotation basis. He doesn't have to play defense. You know what I'm saying? As much. You put Vondo in, and I mean like the issue here is I think up to this point before like up until the record, it was like Aaron Judge. Watch Aaron Judge try to get to 62. You know what I'm saying? Like he was legitimately pressing, doing whatever he can. Don't take me out. Whatever he can get there. After that, then it was like, okay, we have a chance. We need to make the playoffs. All right, the honeymoon's
I'm about to
over.
say, I think that
What are
Aaron
we
Judge
going to
is a
do?
very good comparison because if you remember, the Yankees were falling apart and they needed Aaron Judge to do all of that to keep going. Just like right now, the Lakers need LeBron to average 30 to win these games.
Oh yeah, and
So,
they're paying
that's why I
him
don't
to
think
as
it's
well.
pat. That's why I don't think it's statting the pat. It's padding his stats because they absolutely
are there
cannot win
narratives
if
out
he
there
doesn't do
about
this.
Pat's stat pattern
There
for him right now?
Anthony.
There was a lot of people wondering whether he was just like because the Lakers were so bad to start the season. Remember, it was like, are they even capable of making up the ground? Because we didn't even know that they were going to be able to get out from under Russ's contract with also being able to not give up their picks. They did it.
Yeah, they did
And
start off really, really
it
bad.
was
They were
it
like
was it was really bad.
14. Yeah.
Yeah, they won like 2 games or something like that, and like the first like 6, like it was like crazy. But like I think once they realized like they were like in striking distance of at least a play in, then it was like, oh, like we need to make a move, and they did it, and they seemed to make a good move, and it seemed like it was really good, man. And then like I just I feel bad for him as a Laker fan. It's like for me, it's like what am I supposed to think? Like, like either he's hurt or AD's hurt. And it feels like ever since they got together, they just been alternating being hurt. I get it. But for me as a fan, it's just a waste because, like a lot of these young guys as well, too, are going to be up for free agency. We might not even be able to bring this band back together with all the energy that they have. And can they make the playoffs without LeBron James? Maybe.
I'm glad you brought that up, Rise, because we, the fellas, me, James, Dylan, Anthony, were able to fellowship this weekend. And lo and behold, Rise, a bet was made. Anthony bet all of us that the Lakers would not make the playoffs. And because Anthony is very shallow with bets, we had to narrow that. So it's me. It's me. I will take the bullet. Yeah. I will take the bullet that the Lakers will make the playoffs. That is an active bet. And of course, LeBron promptly hurt his foot the next, not even 24 hours later. Not even 24 hours later.
And then Anthony proceeded to hit the group chat like LeBron has been playing like shit and has been squandering an opportunity.
Just like LeBron, the guy now you can see the Lakers are
falter in the biggest moments where they need him most. Falter. Don't act like he was a bum. Like,
oh God,
I didn't. When I saw the injury, I didn't think it was that serious. It was like maybe he rolled his ankle, but then I saw.
You said there was like a pop or something.
Yeah, I saw them talking, and I was like, "Oh my God, that doesn't sound good at all."
It doesn't sound good.
It sounds like ligament damage, when you hear stuff like that. And then if this ligament damage, he's not coming back, man. I don't think you should bring him back because you're paying him too much to jeopardize him not being able to play and be effective for the rest of the contract. That's the issue. This is my issue as a Laker fan is they're paying him to be the person that he is being forced to be. They're not paying him for him to be just in a support role. They're paying for him to be a person to output 30 points to 28 points a game every night. And that's not on, honestly, like LeBron James is going to go for as much money as is. 50%. It's bad. It's bad.
I agree with that 50%. Reason why I feel like they're paying him to get them there, but at the same time, they're also paying for his name. That's what it really is. They're paying to have LeBron James because if with him being the most popular player in the NBA and the the highest grossing player in the NBA or anything like that, you're not going to offer LeBron James a veteran minimum, and he's not going to take it. So like the reason why he's paid is because you pay LeBron James. So they're going to pay LeBron James. And if he decides, and if they have a good enough team for him to be the support, then that's the role that he will be. But he's going to get paid regardless. So I can't really take that narrative right there.
I just feel like they should have traded him. I feel like they should have traded him. I feel like they would have been terrible. I feel like they would have just been in the same position that they're slow. It's like a slow train wreck right now for me. Because I feel like I know how this ends. I think this ends
But
with.
it's more hope. It's more hope.
I mean, is it? I mean, like, because at the same time,
Barring
it's
the,
like
you can say it now, but barring that injury that just happened a couple of
he's
days
been
ago,
injured ever since he came on the Lakers, though.
yeah, but barring the injury that happened a couple of days ago, you had hope.
I mean,
You did.
like a day or
You
two,
did.
yeah, like a day or two, yeah.
And if you guys trade him and just get a bunch of picks and a bunch of nobody players, and you're going into purgatory, there is no hope.
But there's no
You'd
purgatory
rather
if
play
you do
with
that.
hope than have no hope.
There is
right?
purgatory because then you don't have your own draft picks still.
No, but you
That's
recoup
the
on other
purgatory.
people's draft picks, so it's not
Mhm.
purgatory.
That's not the same.
I mean, it's not the same as being having those particular ones, but it's like they still have their picks for like 2027, I think, in 2000.
And now you bank on what happens.
Those picks
You
are
just
4
now
years
bank- now you're
away.
on-
That's a
now you're on-
13-year-old child.
Now
At
you're
the
on
same
faith.
time-
You don't know.
At the same
I'm
time,
crazy
I
when
mean,
I
like,
say that though.
no, it's not. No, listen, I don't agree with that. Even if Dylan says that, my thing is like this: like, you recoup the picks
Fuck
because
them
you
picks.
get the picks from a bunch of different teams. You could have traded. You're not only traded LeBron James, you're trading Anthony Davis, and you're also offloading Russell Westbrook's expiring contract to whoever wants it at that point. You don't like people trade for expiring contracts all the time. Like, so it would be clear that the Lakers are rebuilding and they're trying to maximize however much draft picks and capital that they can. The problem is
Then you're running off of faith, though. You're like, all right, hopefully we can make something of this. Now that we offload LeBron, we offload AD, we offload Westbrook, we get these draft picks, we get some capital space and everything like that. Hopefully we can get something of this, because before LeBron
we have a
going to the
precedent.
Lakers,
We have a precedent. We have a precedent.
What's that?
What's the precedent?
The precedent is before LeBron James got there, we took that route and we drafted D'Lo, we drafted Ball, we drafted BI, we drafted Hart, we drafted
Randle.
Kuzma, and then we had enough young talent to do what? Trade for a star, which is Anthony Davis, and entice someone like LeBron James to come to the Los Angeles Lakers because they're the Los Angeles Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like
and that the Lakers were terrible.
No, the Lakers. No, I'm fully aware the Lakers are going to be terrible because they need to at least get some young talent that's worthy enough to be traded. But that's what the Lakers do. They trade for star talent because sometimes they don't. They know, like, hey, listen, the odds of us just drafting a LeBron James, the odds of us being able to draft the Anthony Davis, to draft the Shaquille O'Neal, even if we have our own guy there right now, is they don't play that game. They don't like those numbers. They've never liked those numbers. They haven't played those numbers since Magic. So what they do is they trade to get the superstar. And guess what? They have the most championships in all the NBA right now because of that. So that's their tried and true. That's what they know to do. And they did it again with LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and won a championship. Other teams play the lottery game and do all that. And, they get a Giannis. They can get all these guys like that. But they're awful for much longer than usually the Lakers are awful for. The Lakers are awful for like 3 seasons. Like, that's nothing. Like, the Oklahoma City Thunder have been awful for almost a decade.
Like 3 seasons.
They were awful for like 3 seasons.
Awful since what? Before LeBron got there, the year of Kobe's Achilles injury. So what was that, 2015?
It's when D'Lo was drafted.
So yeah, 2014, 2015.
It's longer than 3 seasons.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Well, like 4, what they had D'Lo, Kobe came, and that was Jules this year. That was when Jules was still there. So we have D'Lo, we have Jules. Jules is there.
Because Kobe gone when they got Brook Lopez?
Jeremy Lin, or is that before?
That's before everything. Jeremy Lin was a while before that.
Yeah, it's the
Jeremy Lin was there with Nick Young.
I think the last major draft.
Were you guys not bad during those years?
Yes.
When Kobe was finishing up, absolutely.
Yeah, so like it was before the Achilles.
No, it was during the Achilles too. The Achilles year, and then he came back like a year afterwards.
2013
played on it.
2013 was the last time the Lakers made the playoffs before LeBron came.
Yeah, so 2013 then. And when did and LeBron came in what year though?
2018.
2018. So 5 years. So I was 2 years off. So 5 years. Yeah. So, I mean, there's teams that have been awful for at least a decade, though.
And they missed the playoffs that first year Bron was there.
Because he got injured his groin. That's correct.
Yeah.
6 years.
So, but they weren't awful that year. He got injured.
They
and that was
were.
it.
Mike is a salt rubber. That's
yeah.
why.
No, that's what I'm trying to say. They were literally like number one in the West at the time. He injured his groin.
Does that? He just loves the salt. Just let me rub that in. I don't care what's
Bang, bang.
He heard the underlying whispers of teams have been awful for more than a decade, and he heard the Knicks. He literally translated like Google Translate. He was like, and
you know when
Knicks
you mention the
have
Knicks,
been terrible
becomes
for
emotional. Mike, more than anybody else here, whenever you mention the Knicks in a negative light, becomes very emotional.
because it brings back some really awful times. Like, you know, it brings back me talking to him about Ronaldo Balkman and all these other guys that are on the team that Knicks fans were telling me that were good. Like the Landry Fields was supposed to be like Steph Curry.
I heard a lot of rumblings.
He's a better GM than he was.
I heard rumblings about Sakari that was supposed to be good on the Lakers.
Robert Sakari. Jesus Christ, bro. Think about this. Think about this. This is PTSD. That's why I don't say anything. When I hear like all the Knicks stuff, I'm like, listen, man, you guys deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve it. I'm a Jets fan. Trust me. We both deserve
the Knicks are on. Side note, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The Knicks still have not lost.
It's gonna be 7 tomorrow.
And they have not lost since they got Josh Hart.
Well, Anthony just put the curse on year 7 just now.
I love some Josh Hart though. I love some Josh Hart though. That's my dude, man. That's my dude.
But the Knicks are currently the 5 seed, and the Knicks are a whole 5 games away from #42.
I thought the Knicks
Josh
was
Hart.
How did they lose the
6?
Hold on.
6
Unbelievable.
games away.
Dylan, he's been good since he was on Portland. Though he's been. Good.
I know. Josh Hart's good.
I don't know.
I like Josh Hart. I didn't think Josh Hart was going to be this like important to the Knicks.
He was
as
awesome.
he is.
He was,
but
he's been awesome.
He's
awesome.
He's what?
He's the perfect fit. He's the perfect fit.
He is what RJ Barrett is supposed to be.
No, don't say that.
Roz, he is correct.
Supposed to be better than
he is correct.
RJ's correct. He's right.
In lower standards,
RJ's potential is supposed to be better than
Josh Hart. But in lower standards, he is what RJ Barrett is supposed to be.
He's like. Oh man!
So we are the 5th seed, and we're
the Knicks are the 5 seed, and they're 2 behind Cleveland in the loss column for the 4 seed.
Who was there?
Don't even say it, Anthony, because you
here we go.
No. You're muted. No.
Here we go.
You hopped off that bandwagon. You hopped off it. I don't want to hear it.
Here we go.
You hopped off that bandwagon, and as soon as you hopped off that bandwagon, they started winning. So you can stay over there on the side of the street, standing in the rain. I don't want to hear it, because the only person in this group that has had faith in these Knicks is me. It's this guy. #42.
I never said.
Am I going to get a speaky for that? No, nobody mentions Mike getting a speaky for #42.
Facts are facts. Okay.
I
made the prediction. Y'all called me crazy.
I never
go back to that pod. I think it was the pod when I said the Knicks are going to be the 4th seed.
You never said it, Anthony.
I did say.
You never.
If I didn't say it on the pod, then I said it in the chat.
We did both of these things. You didn't do that, and then I tried to make a bet with you, and you refused.
I absolutely said the Knicks are going to be 4th seed.
All I said was the Knicks aren't.
I put on everything I love. I said the Knicks are going to be 4th.
I still stand on that,
and we're very close to it.
I still stand on the fact that the Knicks aren't going to win the championship this year. That's all I said. I said they need a star.
That's a silly thing to
it's not silly. It's not silly.
That's a reach prediction, though.
It's not.
It's a reach prediction because the Knicks were never.
Imagine if there was a bet.
it's a reach prediction because the Knicks were never a favorite or idea to think that they were going to win the championship. So that's easy to say the Knicks are not going to win the championship.
But do you think there's any Knicks fans that believe that they're going to win, that they have a chance to win the championship this year based
No,
on
I don't
how
think
they're
any
playing
Knicks
now?
fan believes they're going to win the
Nobody
championship.
ever said that.
No,
No,
but, like,
Not one. You don't think no one's out there?
Not a single one.
Roz,
I don't think
that
I don't
Kings
think
fans think that this year's a disappointment because they're not going to win the championship, but they're having a phenomenal year, aren't they?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. If you eat enough kibbles and bits, and like you never had filet mignon in your life, I'm sure it tastes wonderful.
If I were to put a bet on a
Like,
team to not win the NBA
like-
championship, I feel like the Knicks would be at a plus $4 billion to not win that. Like, you don't win any money making that bet. That is just
No.
you lose money making that
The
bet.
Knicks are right now a plus 4,000 to win the East.
So
Yeah, I'm
here's
not
my
taking
thing,
that
right?
bet. I'm not taking that.
That's
Bet.
Yeah.
odds.
So, but I'm asking, like, again, right? Like, I wonder if the Knicks are just like trying to strike lightning and like spike, like possibly getting. I don't. For me, as a person looking at how the roster is currently constructed, like it's like they're good enough now, and they had the talent is Josh Hart is what they really added, and they got rid of the dude who was a bum, who was from the Hawks. I don't know. Like,
He's not a bum. They just never played him.
I mean, how's he doing now? He's never been good.
He has been good.
Okay for
What are you
Portland.
talking
He's playing
about?
Okay for Portland.
He hasn't been good up until the point they traded him.
He was averaging 17 a game. What are we doing?
Wait, what are you talking about? The dude from
Cam
the Hawks?
Reddish?
Cam
Reddish.
Reddish.
Cam Reddish?
Cam Reddish.
When he was healthy, he was
Yeah.
averaging 17 a game.
And then
And he's
decided
been
to
healthy
stop
for a
playing him.
long period of time. They
Tibbs
just
decided you're not
won't play
playing
him.
no more.
They
Tibbs
traded
just
for him
didn't-
to not play him.
That doesn't make sense.
he got traded
Exactly.
to Portland, and he played the next night.
That doesn't make sense. All right.
And he's playing well for Portland.
That's a weird
He's
Cam.
playing
all
well
right.
for them.
Besides my weird Cam Reddish take, because I thought he was awful. I've just never seen
No,
him.
Cam Reddish is not awful.
But,
Cam Reddish has a shit ton
Oh,
of potential.
you
I
won't
think he
find
was good
many
on.
Knicks
Wasn't he
fans
on
that will
Duke?
say-
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember him playing on Duke, and I think he was good. And I was like trying to figure
Yeah.
out why he wasn't playing. But yeah,
He was
yeah,
injured
I
when he
guess
played for the Hawks, and then he got traded to the Knicks, and he played well in the beginning of the season. Then he got injured, and then Tibbs was teetering the line of, I don't play young guys, and I don't have anybody else you can play. And then he got injured again, and it was like, you're never seeing the court again. And then he got healthy, and still didn't play him. That's
So is
what
he
it was.
killing it
for
right
Tibbs.
now?
He's
On
playing
Portland, and he plays.
okay. He's playing a good role
But
player.
he's in
but he
a
wasn't playing
position in
anything
Portland
for
where
the
they're
Knicks.
deep at wing. So he's not going to get a ton of minutes. So it's like he's going to have to earn those minutes with the small amounts of playing time he's going to continue to get. But I would take Cam Reddish on a fucking
Okay.
card.
Okay, so we'll do a to be continued then on Cam Reddish. But
You know,
like,
Cam Reddish.
but
When the Knicks traded for Cam Reddish last year, I was like, that's the Knicks' best player. I was like, I really think
never
he could be
thought
the Knicks'
that.
best player.
I don't know about that.
He's got serious high. He has super high upside.
I'm sure he's a very decent player. Wish he gets more playing time, but like as far as like the Knicks are concerned, I think the way the roster is constructed, I just don't know like what their end game was for this season.
Me either.
That's what
Yeah.
Get out of the first round.
So you're
exactly
you're
what Mike
playing.
said.
So you're playing just to get out of the first
Right,
round.
you're
Baby steps.
trying
Yeah.
to build a championship team. Right,
The
it doesn't.
pro, so
Baby steps,
Every
brother.
team doesn't just blink and they're a championship team. Sometimes you have to build it.
here's what my next question would be. So let's say the
I
Knicks
think
do
that-
exactly what they're supposed to do, and they get out of the first round. What do you do to get better?
Yes.
So
You're not-
now it's
What's
That's
going to
Leon
happen
Rose's
is,
job. That's not my job.
Hey.
They gotta. I don't know.
no,
what
but
they're gonna do.
now I'm asking
Dylan,
you.
watch this. Watch this.
That's what,
They made these changes at trade deadline, right, and free agency and all that stuff like that. Next season, all those guys are not going to be here, and they're going to be back to the same fucking team.
All them
bro.
guys are still under contract. All of them got, and the Knicks are very in a good cap position. Like the Knicks are doing everything right. That's why I don't understand the impatience. Like, just relax. The Knicks are
Mike,
literally doing everything right.
What would you do after this season?
I don't know
Considering
who's going to be a free agent. That's the problem. I don't.
No,
I
So
don't
you're
know
only
who's
going to go
be
after
free
there's
free
no
agents?
good free agents.
No,
so
but
that's
you
what
don't.
we're saying.
I don't know. You don't know what's going to pop up. What if something happens? What if we have another random Ben Simmons debacle where a player gets mad and quits his team? I don't know what's going to happen.
Mike,
but if that's
just
the
am
case,
asking
but
an
if that's the
opinion.
case, you
I
have to
want
trade
your
for him.
opinion.
The Knicks
I
should
want
probably
your
go
opinion.
after another wing. That's what that in the
But
perfect
how would they do
world.
Like what
that?
type of wing? Are you looking for a superstar wing? Or are you looking for a
I
starter
mean, if
wing?
it's
Like, what are you looking
available,
for?
But why
you're
would
not
you?
gonna
But you just told me before you don't trade for superstars, though.
I would have traded for Donovan Mitchell, but I'm not trading half the team for Donovan Mitchell. That's
Okay,
what,
so
yeah, I keep forgetting I'm not trading 5 guys.
So let me
and
ask you
2
this
picks
question.
for
Let me ask you
Donovan
this
Mitchell.
question.
I'm not
If
doing that.
Well,
somehow
when you
the
got to
Knicks
match
go to the
contracts,
Eastern,
you got to do that.
no, hold on. Let's say the Knicks actually do surprise everybody and they go to the Eastern Conference Finals. Are you trading for a player like Donovan Mitchell and giving up 5 picks next year, knowing that your team is just a superstar away from the championship?
Depends on how they lose and who they lose to. Because what if
it's
just something small that they need to get them over the hump? Maybe they don't need a Kevin Durant to get over the hump. Maybe they just need another B guy to get over the hump.
No.
It all depends. I gotta.
Why would you need a B guy? Why would you want a B guy if you can get a
You
superstar?
can't win without a
But
superstar.
Ron, I'm saying it depends on how they lose. What if we get to the playoffs and all of a sudden Julius Randle turns into the second coming basketball player, and now he established himself as a superstar?
Is that
and
what
I
you're
don't
betting
need to
on?
go get. I'm
What's the odds of that?
giving you a scenario. You're asking me. I'm answering you. If Julius Randle
I
does
have a
that,
realistic
then I
scenario
don't
now.
need to go get a superstar. I need to go get somebody else to complement him. But if the Knicks go in the playoffs and Julius Randle has another bad playoffs, then maybe I need to trade Julius Randle and try to get someone better. It all depends on what happens. I can't honestly give you an answer because I don't know how they lose.
What if the Lakers offer you LeBron James?
Silly because that's how all teams evaluate their teams, Dylan.
Wait, question.
How did we lose? How do we get better?
If the Lakers dangle LeBron James for five draft picks, would you do it?
For 5 draft picks? No.
Who would you give 5 draft picks for
monopoly
anybody?
money, like 5 second-round picks?
Yeah, 5 second-round picks. Yeah,
money? Sure.
Time out. Let me bring this back. Is there anyone in the league you're willing to give 5 draft picks for?
Joel Embiid.
Okay, so
Joel, very realistic.
So if Joel Embiid becomes available, you'll give him 5 draft picks.
Yeah, I would give up 5
and
draft
RJ
picks.
Barrett and Quentin Grimes and Obi Toppin.
And Obi Toppin.
I don't know if that money. I don't think that money matches.
If the money match, would you do it?
It does match because Joel Embiid makes bread.
Yeah, if the money matches, would you do it?
And I still get to keep. Yes, I would do that. Yes, I would.
Well, and you get to keep what?
No, I was thinking about who you said you were trading, and then I thought about it. No, yes,
Barrett,
I would
Grimes,
do that trade.
Toppin.
The Donovan Mitchell trade.
No, yeah. I would. I told you I would not have made that trade.
I'm just telling you, but you would do it for Joel Embiid.
Joel Embiid is better than him. We just said
that is true.
Joel Embiid
no, I'm not saying that that's not true. So it's
Donovan
only a top
Mitchell,
5 player.
I love Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell is not a top 5 player in the league.
So it's only a top 5 player. So it has to be those top 5 players.
Why are you trying to confine it to a perfect box so you can have your gotcha moment? Like
I'm not. I'm just asking you. I don't know what you would trade for as a Knicks fan. Those 5 picks. Well, who's worthy of it? You said Joel Embiid, and then we said he's a top 5 player. So I said, is it only relegated to the top 5 players?
If it's a top 5 need and fit, yes. Yes.
So
Donovan
he has to be
Mitchell
top 5 need and fit. I'm asking. You just said that. I'm just trying to figure out what is good enough to trade 5 picks. At the time that
Donovan Mitchell became available, the Knicks had just signed Brunson. So why am I going to go get another?
He's better than Brunson. He's better than Brunson, 100%. And Brunson plays the 1, right?
Yeah, but then you have a backcourt.
You know what? I don't know what Brunson plays. Who knows what he plays?
He plays the point guard. Don't do that.
I don't know what he plays anymore.
You know what he plays. He plays the point guard. He's a point guard.
So let me go back to Mike saying he doesn't understand this, know the scenario in which is going to happen. When the Nets were going through their runs, I had all these scenarios in my head. Was, well, if you lose this team and this team, this is what I would do. In the offseason, this is what I think we should do, blah, blah, blah. I would cover all of that. Like, if I'm the Knicks and you get out of the first round, no matter what, you moving on to the first round, you have to try to find a superstar to trade for.
You have to.
Like there's no world that the Knicks cannot
have
go
to.
after a superstar.
You
But
have
who?
to.
Because
So,
Julius Randle is not the
who
superstar.
is
If
the
he
superstar?
But who's the superstar
Yeah, but
though?
that's the issue with the Knicks is because you who the hell can you put on the Knicks? There's like no
Is the
guy that I
star.
can see in my brain
have
that
to
you say
call,
this is.
that's the
you
thing.
have
You
to
have to call
ask.
around.
No, I'm not.
You have
I'm
to
not
call
talking
around.
about.
No,
I'm
I
not
know what you're
talking
saying.
about who's available. I'm talking about who can you see? I can't see anybody coming to the Knicks. I can't see.
It's not gonna be through free agency. Free
Without
agency does
completely
not.
No, it has to be through a
blowing
trade.
up the
That's
roster.
what a trade.
No, I'm saying even
Without
through
completely
trading, I
blowing up the
can't
roster,
see
who is it?
anybody as a superstar.
So
Knicks
I think
jersey.
you can first start with positions and then make your way down. Like I think I can definitely see the Knicks.
You ignore point
looking-
guard. You leave point
You
guard. the
go
way
for
point guard is.
5. You go for the 5. Like who's available at the 5 that would be worth you to
Carl
actually
Anthony
go ahead.
Towns and Joel Embiid will
Towns.
be available.
Towns will be available. Towns will definitely be available, right? You
Embiid,
can go
if they
that route.
lose in a fashion that's horrible and they start to blow it up, New York needs to be on the phone with Philly immediately.
And I'm all for that.
Kick the top. Would you do it for
I'm all
Towns?
for that. I would do it for Towns, but I wouldn't give up what we were just talking about. Giving
Well,
up
the reason why
Embiid.
you'd have to
I
give it up
wouldn't
for
do
that is
for
because of
Towns.
youth.
But I unfortunately, Cat doesn't have the resume that Joel Embiid does.
Cat is a top big, and he's
Cat
younger.
on that team
But
would be
he's-
sick.
But he would be Rise, but he won't be if I have to give all of that away to get him.
Who?
That's-
Obi Toppin and Quentin Grimes?
And RJ.
If that's
And
the only
RJ
two I gotta
Barrett?
trade, then y'all do it
No,
tomorrow.
And
it'll be
RJ
three.
Barrett.
It'll be 3.
It'd be the same Donovan Mitchell trade.
There's no way Minnesota's taking those 3 for Cat.
But
Yeah,
why,
they are.
why wouldn't they?
Yeah,
They're
they
gonna
are.
They're gonna,
What?
they're gonna want those
That's
3. and they're
one
gonna
starter and
picks.
2 bench
Of course,
players.
you're going to give up picks.
Why
Of
would they
course you're
trade
gonna give up
one
picks.
starter and 2 bench players for their first or second best player?
Because they're going to
That
ask for your
doesn't make
draft
any
picks.
sense.
Because Cat's about to ask for his way out.
And you're going to ask for his
That's
draft
why.
picks too.
Cat is about to ask for his way out.
And he's going to ask for draft picks as well too. It's not like they're just going to ask you for those
Minnesota's
three
not
straight up.
taking that trade. If Minnesota wants to take that trade, I'm fine with that trade. But
Minnesota
they're not
needs
gonna
draft
take that
picks.
trade.
Minnesota will take that trade.
Minnesota
I
needs
don't
draft
think so.
picks.
They just gave it
So,
up for what's
I hope
They'll
you're
take
right.
That trade.
I hope you're absolutely right.
You know what's funny? You know what's actually funny? I think honestly, like if they don't do something in the next year or two, I think you might be able to pry like someone from the Pelicans. Like you might be able to pry Zion if he's not going to be if he doesn't do anything next year, you might be able to approach them too and have a conversation because he's always wanted to go to New York as well too. So it's like, you know, it's a possibility. It's not out of this realm, but like Dylan said, you got to get on the phone. You can't just sit back and be like, well, I don't know. Like maybe somebody will show up. Like some of these
for bigs,
things,
there's only 2 answers.
You
For
gotta
wing
go.
players. If the Clippers lose in a crazy fashion or in a weird fashion, I'm calling the Clippers to see how they'd be willing to part ways with either one of those guys.
Oh, you
Because
mean
they
like
might be willing.
to do that because they signed both of them.
what about Bam? Why can't you get Bam? What's wrong with Bam?
Rookie contact. You can't have 2 guys on the same team or trade
With the
for a
rookie
guy
max?
while
With the rookie
also
max?
having the rookie max.
Yeah, Bam's still on his rookie max. Yeah.
Can't get the only way you get Bam is if you trade RJ, which is fine. But
Which
then
is fine.
you're undersized because he's your center. You can't really play him at the 4.
Yeah, you'd have
because
to.
he
play
doesn't
Bam
have the
at
offensive
5.
skill set that Julius has.
Yeah, you'd have to play.
But
Bam
then at that
5.
point, if you invest in Bam, you have to trade Julius.
Yeah. I know you don't want the unicorn back. So
No, he
You know.
stinks. But I'm calling Washington and seeing what's good with Beal.
yeah, but it's the same idea though, right? Like you'd have to.
You have to call around. Beal,
you
I
have to
think, is
call-
gettable.
yeah, Bradley's gettable. That's
I think
another guy,
Beal's
but that's the
gettable.
guy I've been pounding the table for, and you guys have told me I've been crazy to ask for you guys to trade for Bradley Beal.
But he doesn't want to go anywhere right now. That's the thing. He has to want to leave.
I don't know, man. You know, if you want, I can trade you guys street clothes.
But that's the problem with Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal doesn't want to be traded right now.
You can have
Beat that motherfucker.
You can
It's
have
just like
street-
Kevin Love. Kevin Love didn't want to get bought out forever. He was like,
Until he
"Nah, I'm
wanted to.
sick." I'm sick. I'm good. And then he was like, okay, fine, I'll get bought out.
You guys-
Like
you guys-
I like where I'm at.
You guys
So
want
when
street
does this
clothes?
clock? When does this imaginary clock that y'all have for the Knicks? When does this clock start for Sacramento?
Sacramento's in the first year of this. This is crazy. Like I don't know what to expect. I need to see another year of
Sacramento to
like
me
this.
is like the Chargers. It's like when Herbert comes out of nowhere that first year, like with De'Aaron Fox is Herbert. He's always been good since he came in. You know, it's like the guy that should have been drafted before Ball, just like the guy that should have been drafted before Tua and those guys. And it's like he's always been good, but the team has always not been complete. They're doing something now, maybe, but they give me big Chargers energy. Like, you know, I have a lot of parallels between these NFL teams and NBA teams. Like, I really, truly, in my heart, believe that the Knicks are the Jets. And honestly, like, it's the same trajectory. It's like the Knicks are doing better than expected. And just like the Jets with a superstar. And that's why the Jets are going so hard, because they're like, we know if we had a quarterback, we could really make a run. Like, not just
I
like,
really want that for you.
and honestly, just like the Knicks, I think if you guys had a superstar, you realize to yourselves, you could also make a run. But the thing about it is like it's hard, right? Because you know, you got guys who are underachieving who should be the guys and superstars that you drafted. And now you're getting people who you asked to come over and that were good. Like, you just got to get it done. Like, we got to get it. We got to get a quarterback. You guys got to get your superstar. I just don't see it as the roster's currently constructed that you guys will do anything worth a damn that you guys will really care about. Like, I know you say you care about going into the first round and getting bounced, but you're not going to enjoy that. You're not going to enjoy the Knicks getting to the first round and then losing and then saying, damn, if we had X amount of person to match up with this person, it would have been great. You're going to be like, you're not going to be like, yeah, we got bounced out of the first round. That was good, guys. Like, great work this year.
No,
I'll say that. I'll say
I'm
that.
going to be mad that they lost, but I'm going to be very excited about next year because I'm going to expect them to then take the next step, just like you're expecting the Jets to take a step.
Correct.
So, like, okay,
well, the thing is, the
like,
Jets
and if they go and they lose to Milwaukee in the first round, I'm not going to be mad. Milwaukee's a better team. I'm not going to be mad at that.
The Knicks
know
but
here's the thing: Jets fans and the Jets organization know what they have to do.
I think the Knicks.
That's what we're trying to pull out of you.
I think the Knicks do, though.
But all right, that's all perfect in a perfect world. So then we think about the year that the Knicks went against the Atlanta Hawks. All right, we made the playoffs. We had our most improved player and all that stuff like that. And then the next year we did shit.
They dropped the ball. They dropped the ball.
That's why last year was so frustrating and so angering, is because they didn't take a step forward. They took a step back.
Because they did nothing, though.
They took a step back.
If the Knicks come out and they do the same thing this year, they perform really well, they advance in the first round, they do what your expectations are, and then they come out and do nothing.
And then they do nothing next year, I'm going to be upset.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be upset. But I'm not going to be upset this year. I'm not going to be mad. Like I keep saying, when Dylan asked me this at the beginning of the year, I said the same thing since the beginning of the year. I want the Knicks. I'm literally asking, I would be satisfied and happy if they are one game over 500 and make the first round and get a couple games in the first round. Like, that's exactly what my projection for this team was. But for some reason, y'all want the Knicks to win a championship. I don't.
I don't. I never said that.
What I'm expecting this team to do.
And like, that's a reach on the scale.
But y'all are like acting like I'm thinking that this team. I'm saying this team is
because you're speaking with your chest.
A quarter away
that's why
from winning the championship. Like, I don't think the Knicks are on the brink of winning a championship.
No.
But the
so
Knicks,
how many my question is, how many times are we going to continue to say, I just want the Knicks to make the playoffs and get to the first round? If they don't win, I'm happy what happened this season, right? And then they do nothing, and then they do nothing, and then they make the play. They do well. They make the playoffs. They win a couple games. They get bounced out. Happy with the season. We're making progression, and then they do nothing, and then it's the same cycle. It's
not the same cycle because what the
Knicks have
been doing for the last 10 years is what you want them to do. try to get these superstars and try and push all the chips on the
Try
table.
to put yourself in a situation
Yes.
to win.
And they fail over and over and over again.
When did they do that?
This time, they're trying to
Carmelo
build
Anthony
a
Mars time
franchise.
That's
and
how long ago was that?
Knicks
10
fans
years
are
ago.
being
Yeah.
impatient.
10
Knicks
years ago.
fans are unbelievably impatient because, like
But
I
that's
said,
How are
you
they
have to do
impatient?
because you have Knicks fans that are sitting here trade half the roster for Donovan Mitchell. Trade
Yes,
half
Because it's a superstar league.
They haven't tried in like 10 years. They haven't legitimately
instead
tried
of
in like 10
letting
years.
instead of letting the cookie bake. That's what
You
I'm
don't
saying.
have a superstar on your team. Don't let the cookie bake. Take him out.
So here's my thing.
So why is it when Rod says,
Here's my
let
thing.
the Lakers build these draft picks, get all these guys, and then go get a superstar with those players? It's okay
Because
for the
he's
Lakers
trading
to
them.
not
I didn't say that.
No, because I
didn't
know
say
they're
that.
gonna. No.
It
I
makes you
know
do exactly
they're
what
going
Rod
to
said he
be
wants the
bad,
Lakers to do.
though.
But
The
he's
Knicks
trading
are
them.
doing
They're gonna be bad.
exactly what he said.
Because
Mike, I didn't agree with that.
trading
But
them.
Mike, I'm not asking the Lakers to
What did I say
sign-
when he said that? Do you remember what I said? I said, "Oh, the 13-year-old has a
No,
lot of value."
Yeah, Dylan said that. But the difference between what you're using my analogy for is because I don't expect the Lakers in that scenario to do what the Knicks did, which is to sign top 5 free agents during the process. I want them to just completely be terrible, gather up picks and gather up talented players to trade
ship 'em out.
for superstars.
Trade
So
them.
The
why
Knicks,
can't it be that the Knicks are in that process
because
right
they're
now?
signing top 5 free agents. That's
Jalen
why.
Brunson's a top 5 free
Jalen
agent.
Brunson
Yes,
was a
Jalen
top
Brunson was a
5
top
free
5
agent
free
last
agent.
year.
He was a top 5 free agent for the Knicks because he fit
No,
the Knicks like a
no,
glove.
he was
free
a
agent
top 5 free
Everybody,
agent
he
for
was
the
a
class.
blockbuster sign.
He was the number one
Out of
point
the
guard
free
of the
agency
class.
that is a big get.
He
That
was
was
a
a
Jalen
big
Brunson
fish
was
in free
was a
agency.
top 5.
Absolutely.
Jalen Brunson was a top 5.
Don't try to
free
make him an
agent
underdog.
this- yeah,
He was
don't
making
talk
his
like
money.
that. Don't talk like that because he was getting maxed out. Whether it was you or somebody else, you guys just tampered enough to get him here early. Like I'm trying to tell you, like literally, you are signing top 5 free agents. You're putting money towards the team, and then you're saying, "Oh, how come we're not looked at as the underdog? How come we just can't sit here and just basically just build up our draft picks and build through the draft?" It's because you're doing half measures. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's like, okay, the Knicks are using money, they're doing their thing. It seems like they want to win, and then you're telling them, "Oh, but we should go ahead and just be happy that you guys are just going to lose, like just to lose out in the first round because that's part of quote unquote this idea of team building because like you can't win the championship that
Half-ass
first
trying.
year that you're doing the team building. Yes, you will not win a championship half-ass building. I completely agree with you. That's why I'm telling you that the Knicks aren't going to win a championship this year, and that's why you're okay with them losing in the first round because again, they're half-ass building. They're not really pushing their chips in. But here's the thing that I'm going to argue for Knicks fans. How long is enough, though?
Shut your mouth, Dylan.
How long is enough?
True.
How
It's
long is
terrible place
enough,
to
right?
be.
So it's okay for you to wait another 5 years for them to decide to push their chips in, but it's only been 10. But the other Knick fan who's been watching them for 10 years and who's literally seen all these different players come through the league and go to all these different teams, and New York being the mecca of basketball, and just like the Lakers, because here's the thing, the Knicks had to become a laughing stock. The Knicks were just as much as a mecca of basketball and a place to go as the Lakers were. That's why you got Stat from the free agent list. That's why you had Carmelo Anthony willing to come here and to fight his way out of Denver to come here as well too. But guess what? You know what the Knicks did with that goodwill? They said, let's draft Ronaldo Balkman. Let's draft Landry Fields. Let's go ahead and draft all these bums. And
Let's
when
make
guys
a splash and bring Phil Jackson to be our GM so he can
And-
hire a
Both
coach
and
of
for
those
instead
are
of-
both of those are
system.
incorrect, Roz, because both of those players you just named were in the Carmelo Anthony trade. Both of them.
How was Amari Stoudemire in the Carmelo Anthony?
No.
trade?
No, he's talking about Ronaldo
Balkman
No,
and Landry
Ronaldo
Fields were
Landry
both
Fields.
traded
Yeah,
to the
but I'm
Clippers
saying you guys,
for Carmelo
but you
Anthony,
guys drafted
which
terrible.
means that they were all a part of the nonsense that the Knicks were doing before they decided to push all their chips on the table.
But
You
what I'm
want to
trying
know
to
why
tell you
you
is
have to make that trade for Carmelo Anthony, Michael?
I was happy when they made that trade for Carmelo. I hated that they gave up half the team for Carmelo Anthony.
Who was
And you
on
know
that
what
team?
happened? The Knicks gave
Raymond
up.
Felton, fucking
on that
Danilo
team?
Gallinari,
Who cares? Who's on that team?
fucking
Who
think
cares?
Wilson
Except
Chan-
all them guys went on
Wilson
to have a
Chandler,
good
who
Wilson
literally
Chandler.
lived in a wheelchair his whole fucking
But Mike,
career.
it
Guy was
wasn't.
always
but,
hurt.
Listen, but it wasn't the fact that you
David Lee
pushed all
didn't have
those
a good
players
career.
away.
Wilson Chandler didn't have a good career.
Wilson
Randy
Chandler was
Fields-
hurt every year.
All right,
Come on,
so
No,
they
he's
all
not.
think
Wilson
David Lee-
Chandler
They all
David
stink.
Lee.
They all-
Raymond
They all
Felton.
stink. They all stink.
No, see,
The
that's
Knicks-
Nobody
Yo,
said
the Knicks
that.
won-
Come
They were
on,
good
man.
or they
Trade.
stink when
Did the
it's
Knicks
not
win
your
the trade?
narrative.
Did the Knicks win that trade, or did Denver win that trade?
The
But it's
Knicks
because
won
they
that trade.
drafted terrible. That's why.
The
Because they
Knicks won that
drafted
trade.
terrible. It's not like Ronaldo, Bachman, and those guys and all those other guys were just like fodder. They were actually decent draft
Jared
picks that
Jeffries.
They blew those picks.
Jordan
not-
Hill.
That's not on the fact that like the Knicks were just like, oh my god, they shouldn't have traded all those players. If they had drafted better, it would have been a home run.
Do you
They
want to know
just-
why
they're
you
just
have to make that
terrible at
Carmelo Anthony
drafting.
trade? Because if you left it to him in free agency, who knows where the fuck he was going to end up?
That's
But
true
Carmelo
too.
said he wanted to come to the Knicks. That's why they made the trade. Carmelo
They-
said
they-
he wanted.
he said
to
that
be a Knick.
Denver approached
And great
him.
trade. And great trade.
Denver approached him and asked him where he wanted to go, and he then said, "Oh, fine, you're going to trade me to the Knicks."
And that's a great
Denver
trade.
could have said, "No, you could just go in free agency and not trade him."
But they wanted
The Knicks could have said,
compensation.
"Hey, we're not going to trade for him because he said he wanted to come to us." The problem is, do you know who was also in the mix at that time for Carmelo Anthony?
Brooklyn.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
that's the problem. Us being involved force your hand.
So what's the time horizon? What's the time horizon for this current regime that the average Knick fan right now wants to see them actually like give a push to all in trips, quote unquote?
If the
like you
Knicks
said.
if the Knicks do nothing again, you have to fire the whole front office.
What's the timeline, Mike? When do you expect them to? No. Listen.
No, that's wild to me.
No.
If
I'm
the Knicks
asking-
come out and do nothing,
but I'm asking.
So wait, what do you mean by nothing?
I'm asking a question.
they add a couple role players, like a couple of guys who have expiring contracts leave, and they only add a couple role players. They don't do anything to actively make the team better.
What's the time horizon?
If they don't make the team better, and it's reflective on the court, after next season, you have to get rid of everybody.
They don't do anything, and the team still gets better on the court.
So that's what I'm saying.
Define
so
get better. If they lose in the playoffs at the same place they lost the year before, is that getting better?
You got to
But
stand.
it's not. It's not just the fact that we lost in playoffs. We performed like dog shit in the playoffs. Like
That's
if
why
we-
I said if you go
Feeling
to
you
the
gotta-
same spot
I'm okay
Go
with a
ahead.
good fight in the first round. I'm okay with that.
every year, you're okay with a good fight? in the
Not
first round?
every year. I'm
Now we're
just talking.
5-6 years
No,
down
I'm
the
just
road.
talking-
I'm talking-
so that's what I'm
No,
asking.
his question was, what is the timeline
What is
for
the time
regime?
horizon?
I said, if this
Stand
year
on it.
you...
You're asking a question, but it's still a little vague. That's why.
No,
Okay,
that's
so
why I
here's
asked.
what I'm going to
So
say.
stand-
Here's my
stand
answer
on
to this.
What are you asking? Because if you put it that way and we
I'm
give
trying
a
to
small answer, I see you start to move a little bit on the goal. Stand on something so
So
they
I'm
can
trying
know
to
exactly
ask. I'm
what's
trying to
going on.
ask. Like,
So
what's the
here's
time
my
horizon
interpretation of this. So
when they should be competing for a
when you should
championship?
start firing like your GM and your director of basketball
Yeah, I
operations,
love
and you
firing
start to
people.
move on. But you have to, right? That's the business of basketball. If people aren't getting the job done, you have to move on from them. So right now we're in this current situation. I'm going to give you guys the benefit of the doubt. You guys are going to win in the first round. I don't care who your opponent is, and then you're going to lose in the second round. If Worldwide West and all those guys come out there and they give you nothing, then you have to start like thinking, okay, they really just think this team is going to advance by
How long
itself. And
has
just
it been there? Has it been 5 years?
it's been
It's
about
been
4 or 5
3
years. It'll be 4 years at this point.
No, but
Right?
keep going.
It's
Keep going.
been
It's going to be
3
4 years at this point, correct,
years.
Mike? It'll
Wait, but
be
Dylan,
year
keep
4.
going. Keep going.
So it'll be year 4. At that point, if you just let the team organically grow as opposed to try to actively improve by implanting an influx of talent, whether it's one superstar or more superstars or better players, better role players to improve on what you actually have, then you have to sit there and like, okay, let's start the clock. If you go and you get to the same exact spot you were in the year prior, you win the first round. Let's say you're the same seed. Let's say you finish up this year at the 5 seed with 43 wins to make Mike happy, right? 43 wins, just so he doesn't say I'm trying to shortcut the Knicks here and I give you an extra win, so I'm not hating, right? And then next year you finish as the 4 seed as opposed to the 5 seed. You win the first round and you lose in 5 again, the same exact way. And then the offseason starts to approach.
They have to do something. They have
Yeah,
to.
I would
So
expect
you're giving them an extra year.
Yeah, I'll give
they
them
have
an
to
extra year.
start switching something up.
I
But I'm
think
not
after
firing them at the end of that year. That's ridiculous.
Because I want the team to
But
organically
you did get
grow,
better.
at least in the.
I just straight up just want to know, what's your time horizon for when the Knicks should be competing for championships? That's all I want to know.
Because if you're banking on an organic build for a team who has not been able to organically build anything, you're gonna be waiting for a while.
Saying that, but this regime has not failed over and over again.
But listen, however you want to build it,
has organically grown. This franchise is in a significantly better spot than it was 3 years ago. Significantly better.
Yes,
that's what y'all are not understanding.
No, I agree.
This franchise has gotten better every year since World Wide West has gotten here. It has literally gotten better every year. Last year was a step back.
But nobody keeps their job forever.
Nobody keeps their job forever.
Nobody keeps their job forever.
What's your question, Roz?
My question
the answer
was
to Roz's question is they should be competing for a championship in the next 2 to 3 years.
2 to 3 years. Okay.
2 years.
They should be competing for a championship in the next 2 to 3 years.
2 years for me.
So 2 years.
Yeah.
Right. So if they're not competing for a championship in 2 years, then what?
Because you guys just looked at me crazy when I said you have to start the timer.
Then what? However
of this year.
No, listen. However you want them to construct the roster.
I said set the timer after free agency. So you set the timer. I didn't say when yet.
2 years.
Because if they do nothing,
we're setting the timer now. Then Raj answered this question is setting the timer now.
I'm not saying set the timer. I'm just asking.
I'm saying, Raj, Dylan is literally we're setting the timer right now. It doesn't matter if we're setting it now or a year from now. We're setting the timer.
If I'm the owner of the Knicks and this offseason coming up, you do nothing, I'm setting the timer.
How long? Are you
because the most. Because now I have to see how this team grows. I'm setting it for the free agency of next year. If you do nothing in that next free agency period.
So if the Knicks make the playoffs this year, lose in the first round.
I said win the first round, lose in the second round.
Win the first round. Do nothing in the offseason of significance besides their draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
And then next year do the same thing. Worse.
Do the same thing.
Again, finish top 5, top 4 seed, and then lose in the second round. You're firing. You're firing.
No, I'm waiting to see what free agency does. Because if free agency comes
why
and goes,
why would you let that man make any decisions if you're ready to fire him?
Because according to you, World Wide West has done a great job in the last 3 years he's been there. You're going to give him another shot to try to improve on this team. If he doesn't improve on this team, then that offseason after the fact, you have to start giving him that season.
Like, you firing him before the season starts?
No, I'm going to fire him halfway.
So you're
at the
still
halfway
giving
point.
him 2 more years.
I'm giving him the halfway point because if he goes to the trade deadline after signing nobody and does nothing, he's fired.
Yeah, I think the halfway point is where everybody makes their decisions anyway. Just saw it.
That is where GMs who get fired. So that's where they're going to get fired. So
you guys
this
should be
year,
competing for the championship.
I give it a year and a half outside of this season.
And when I say because when I'm saying competing for championship, I'm thinking the Knicks are in the same air that we're talking about Denver and Boston and Milwaukee. Like all of those teams are competing for a championship.
Correct.
I don't know which one of them is going to win it.
No.
But all those teams think they can win, 100%. Whether or not they will or not. All those, even Memphis to a degree. I think Memphis thinks that they can win a championship. They can win it this year. So I just want to make that clear that we're not sitting here. You want the Knicks to look like fucking Phoenix.
No. We're in agreement. So I said competing for championships. Like this team coming into the season is a championship contender. So as the roster is built now, and you're saying 2 years, right? So the question is, and I followed up with it. If they don't, then
you can start. Then you can start looking at getting rid of him.
So I think at the trade deadline of a year and a half, you cut bait with them, you fire them, you see what you play off for the rest of the season, and then the next offseason you don't give him another shot because then you have to move on because you're in that 2 to 3 year window that you said. you don't get better. If you go 3 years of being in the same spot after already being here for 3 years and you don't get better and your trade deadline comes through and you don't do anything to improve, that's when it's like,
you're also throwing this. They're just gonna sit on their hands and not do anything. Like that's hard to believe that.
There's a precedent for them doing that.
There's a precedent for them doing that.
There's a precedent for them doing that, though.
Is it not?
No,
they win the playoffs. They made noise, and then they did nothing.
This regime has done something at the trade deadline every year, except for last year.
If you add another Josh Hart to this team in a year, that doesn't move the needle.
But I would argue that their in-season trades have been great.
That's why I'm saying you give him the trade deadline. If that's what I'm like, am I wrong for giving him more time?
I don't, because I'm just confused. Like like I said, it sounds like you're just wanting to fire him now. Like
no, I said give it a year and a half.
They're not ready.
Outside of this
season. Not ready next year, fire him now. And that just doesn't make sense to me.
So my only
reason
why
they don't get a superstar next year, fire him.
The only reason why
this
I think
is what I
say
when you mention the Knicks and you get emotional. I'm saying give him another year and a half.
And like you just
and you're getting emotional
of trying to find cute ways to fire Leon Rose. We're trying to get him to agree to when are we gonna fire Leon Rose? Like,
do you want me to spin to the Nets and when I think we should fire Sean Marks?
I think both. I think Sean Marks 2 to 3 years. I've been saying that for like at least a year now.
If the sun rises this way, 2 to 3 years, they should be competing for a championship. If not, we got to look at the front office and see like, what are we doing?
I'm building my prediction on or my timeline based on what you're telling me.
The problem is,
when did they get to the Knicks? Right, you said 3 years ago. That puts him in the year 2020. My timeline gives him to 2025. Halfway through the 2025 season. That is much longer than an average GM gets to sit here and try to build a team to contend for a championship. And all of a sudden, I'm wrong for trying to fire a guy. I'm trying to fire a guy for potentially doing nothing. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. And that's why I don't. Why would we assume that they're going to do nothing? I don't understand.
In the last 3 years, what has he actually done besides bring Jalen Brunson and extend RJ Barrett?
He brought in Derrick Rose, which was yes, he did bring in Derrick.
I'm not saying no. But wow, real needle mover.
It did move the needle, Dylan. It did. Derrick Rose was a significant boost to that team making the playoffs back in 2020. Derrick Rose was a
excellent.
Big
what did
part
he do
of
the next
that.
year?
They didn't do anything that offseason. That was the problem. And then they felt because they thought that they had more juice in Derrick Rose than they did. And then Derrick Rose got hurt. And the Knicks fell apart.
Over the top if you have the core already. So improving on role players and not improving on your core doesn't win you championships. Improving your role players when you have an established core win you championships. If your core is Julius Randle and RJ Barrett, that's not what you do. Bringing in Jalen Brunson is awesome. I think that's a great start to like advancing. Now it's RJ Barrett's not getting out to what he was supposed to be. If he doesn't do anything about replacing RJ Barrett or making sure RJ Barrett develops into what he's supposed to be, i.e. being a more consistent basketball player, then yeah, you have to start moving on. If he doesn't acknowledge that, then you have a failure running your basketball operations. Leon Rose and Will West need to get out of here. But again, I'm giving them 5.5 years to put the Knicks in a situation that is much better than they found it in. And I'm the hater because I'm trying to make sure the Knicks do better.
You're looking for reasons to fire. That's what you're doing. Because
the only reason he gets fired is if he doesn't do his job.
Dylan
but
sounds
you
like
literally just sat here.
You
just sat here and tried to say, well, what has he done to improve the team? And then when I listed it, you tried to downplay it.
Yeah, no, I'm going to downplay role players.
This man has improved this team since he got here.
I understand that. He's done a good job, but in order making a team like not horrible.
And now
if your bar is making a team not horrible, that sucks.
But
now I need him to go from being a good team to a great team.
Give him a chance to make it a great team. as y'all keep saying,
Five
it's
and a
not
half
easy.
years is not enough
But
time.
Dylan, you keep saying 5.5 years, but he's gone from bad to good in 3. And now you're
Good. Now
giving
he
him
needs to go to good from
now
great,
you're
right?
going. You want him to go
I'm
from
following your timeline.
So that's 2 years to go from good to great.
I'm giving you your
Not
timeline.
5, 2. You're giving him 2 years to go from good
Then
to
why
great.
do you expect it out of him?
Because I think he can do it.
Perfect. So I'm following your timeline, and if he doesn't do it in 2 years, then he needs to go.
But you're
correct?
trying to change the narrative that he's had
I'm not changing
5
the narrative.
years to take a good team and make it great. That's not what's happening.
That's
here.
not what I
You're-
said.
It's
That's not what I said.
You said he'll have 5.5 years to make this team great.
Yes.
Ignoring
He will
the
have
crap-
had 5 years.
Ignoring the dumpster fire that it was when he got here.
So if you're gonna
He
sit
would
here and
get
get mad at
fired.
somebody, get mad at
He would
you,
get fired
get mad at
because he couldn't
you
get them over
for
the
saying
hump.
you want the
Not
Knicks to be
because he
competing
didn't
for
do
a
his
championship
job.
in 2 years. Get mad at you.
This is
Not
the
me.
Je-
You
this
don't
is the,
have
this
to
is the Jets
win the
parallel, by the way, too.
I'm not saying to win a
This
championship.
is a very Jets parallel thing right now.
If he builds this team that makes you guys a contender,
Mhm.
then he keeps his job, right? Now, if you've been here for the whole rebuild to the point where you are a good team and you just set a 2-year timetable for competing for a championship, Michael, you should not get mad at me for when I say if you don't meet your 2-year timetable, that he should be fired.
This is literally the Robert Saleh argument, and Dylan's on the other side of the fence right now. This is literally
I'm not on the
me
other side of
telling
the fence because
yes,
what
you are.
Robert Saleh did in 2 years is much different than what Leon Rose has currently done.
But the Knicks were awful, and Leon Rose brought these guys to literally being number 4 or 5 in their division, and the Jets were literally like
number 4 in their division.
the Jets at
Number
the
4.
point at this point in relative to where they were, the Jets were actually pretty darn good, but they decided to do nothing in the trade deadline, knowing that their quarterback was statistically awful, and they ran with
Raz,
him.
you're asking for somebody
was
to go and get
awful.
a good quarterback in the middle of the season?
Oh, like we're asking
That's
Mike
stupid.
Oh,
and
like
them to
you're
go get the
asking the
trade
Knicks to just
deadline
go
at
get
the
a
trade
superstar
deadline.
out of nowhere?
Trade deadline to get like
I just watched the Lakers go and get D'Angelo Russell. Is he a superstar? No, he's not a superstar. I watched the Lakers go get Jared Vanderbilt. Is he a superstar? No, he's not a superstar. But he is the correct complementary pieces for your team. I just watched the Lakers go get Malik Beasley. Is he a superstar? No, he's a really good rotational piece for a team that has a what? Foundation.
Where was Malik Beasley at?
So what is Josh Hart?
Josh Hart's great, but you don't have a real core.
Where was Malik Beasley at?
Where is he? In Denver?
Yes.
He was at the end of the bench
Or
in
Minnesota.
minutes.
Minnesota.
They were giving him away because he had all those allegations. That was an easy pickup.
Easy pickup.
That was easy.
So I'm not telling the Knicks to go and pull a Phoenix Suns and trade for Kevin fucking Durant.
Here you are.
That's what it sounds like.
that'd be
No,
fire.
I'm not.
Though.
That's what it
That'd
sounds
be
like.
sick.
That'd be fire though.
That'd be sick, but that's what the offseason's for.
That's what I want the Knicks to do. I want the Knicks to just go. I want the Knicks to go ham. I want them to get like a top 5 player on the Knicks.
But that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying
And that would be great.
The Knicks fans deserve that. But Knicks
all I'm
fans
saying
don't.
is at the end of the
think that they
day,
should
if
get
more
that.
superstars get traded and the Knicks aren't on the phone and they're not going to the Knicks, that's a problem.
That's my issue, right? So it's really stemming from that every other team that is actually like that's playoff worthy feels like they deserve to have a top 5 player because their team shows any semblance of making the playoffs. But for some reason, the Knicks fans don't believe and don't feel like they deserve a top 5 player. I don't understand that.
Oh, that's not true.
Why don't so I mean, like, if that's the case,
Because every
you
Knicks
give
fan
up-
wanted them to trade Grimes, RJ, Toppin, Quickly, Thibodeau, Walt Frazier, trade the whole fucking franchise for Donovan Mitchell. They wanted all of them gone. 7 picks.
he's
with
a
it.
top 10 player though. So the bar was even lower. So the Knicks fans thought they deserved at least a top 10. I think the
He
Knicks
also
fans
shouldn't be
deserve a
attached
top
to
5
role
players.
players.
They're just certain. Listen, I'm call me crazy, right? I just believe, and I believe in this. I think there's just certain markets that deserve to have premier talent. not only is it good for the sport, I think it's good for the fan bases because historically, those places have fans. You can make a case about Miami being, but for the most part, like, no knock on the Miami Heat fans, and Dolphins fans.
They don't
But
deserve what they've
but
got.
but
No,
but listen. I didn't say that. Mike said that. Viewers, I didn't
they
say
don't
that.
deserve what they got.
Right?
No, I
What
know
I'm
what you're saying.
saying
Like,
is
the league is better when the Cowboys are better.
dude, the
Good.
league is. Do you
The
know
league
how
is
much
better when the Cowboys are
better
good.
the league is if the New York Knicks employed a top 5 player? The New
It's
York
great.
Knicks
It's
are
great.
one of the most storied and valuable franchises in all of sports, and they've been awful for 10 years. If they employed a top 5 player, it would literally lead to massive revenue for the league. And just sports of basketball would just probably be across everything that you've seen. Like that's what I'm talking about, right? And I think the franchise owes it to their fans to try their best at any time, any year in the market like New York to try to get a top 5 player here. Because guess what? You know what a top 5 player does for you? That little 2-year timeline you're talking about, that becomes 5 years. That becomes, I need them to try to make the playoffs this year, next year. That also makes everyone else say, dang, man, like New York and coming to the Garden, it's unbearable to play there. It's unbearable to play there. It's just a different thing. And I'm telling you that as a Lakers fan because it was always different for us. It was always different. You couldn't walk into the Staples Center now, which is crypto. You couldn't walk into the Staples Center and Kobe Bryant was in there and not feel like no matter how stacked your team was, that you were just going to walk out there and just blow them out. Until the man was nearly 40 with a torn Achilles, couldn't barely shake your hand, and his knees were made out of just all bone. It was still that's when you thought, okay, I can walk in here and win. But anytime before that, it doesn't matter if the Lakers were awful. You couldn't walk into there and just think you was gonna walk in and just walk out and just sweep the Lakers like that. You're crazy.
I
But
want the
that's what
Knicks to trade for Trae Young so I can watch Mike just internally fight himself
you guys know what I'm talking
about
about.
what
Though.
to do
You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
because he will be available.
The Knicks fans deserve that. That's what I don't get is they haven't had a GM who's willing to be like, you know what? I don't care. By all means, by any means necessary, bring that
However,
person in.
if Leon Rose were to go get Trae Young and have him in a backcourt with Jalen Brunson, he needs to be fucking fired. Because you cannot put these two small guards as your fucking backcourt.
And let me be clear because I didn't say this. That was a shame. That was an absolute shame and a black eye to the New York Knicks that Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant had the nerve to walk into New York City and not even consider staying at the New York Knicks. Didn't even consider it. They literally said they were going to go to the Brooklyn Nets. No offense, Dylan. Compared to the Knicks, the fuck are the Brooklyn Nets?
At that time,
to that, though,
there's a lot of context to that.
No. But I mean, like
There's
historically,
context
though. Do you think that Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving would have made the same impact on the New York Knicks? No, it would have been greater than that. If they would have stepped into the Garden together,
it would have been supernova.
It would have been crazy.
But if they would have pulled
crazy.
this with the Knicks, would have been 10 times worse.
But
the problem is it's the
yeah,
butterfly
definitely would.
effect. It's the butterfly effect. If it would have been anywhere else, it wouldn't have happened.
It probably wouldn't have happened. It probably wouldn't have happened. It probably would. There's no way. Like I mentioned, it's hollow ground, man. And like the Nets are the Nets are also shout out to the Nets though because they built their legacy up. Shout out to the Nets because they built their legacy up because now
the Nets also put them in a situation to trade all the draft picks they accumulated for one of these stars who's going to be crying. So the Nets are trying to do it all over again. And they're not dumb for trying to do that. You have to do that every time a superstar is available. If you don't put your name in the hat, You're just going to be sitting there in purgatory. If the Nets
Listen.
bring the same roster next year, purgatory.
Listen, I'm telling you this right now, man. As great as Josh Allen is, and he's on that Buffalo Bills team, Bills Mafia, everyone's great like that. If Josh Allen was on the New York Jets or the New York Giants,
He would be horrible.
And he had the same impact, though. And he wasn't horrible, like Dylan said. And he was the same Josh Allen on either one of those teams. Josh Allen would have been on the Wheaties box.
The problem is when you do a comparison like that, we only know what Josh Allen is because of hindsight. But when you put him on an Adam Gase team or a Todd Bowles team or a who the fuck was the Giants head coach before?
McAdoo.
Ben McAdoo team. Josh Allen is not Josh Allen. Josh Allen is just like Tyree Jackson.
I mean, we're going off the fact of what we know.
Yeah, we're
right?
going off the rails.
Yeah.
But
like it's all different. It's all the butterfly effect.
And let's get right to it and just straight, no tangent, yes or no.
Heard you.
Damn.
Are the Knicks making the playoffs?
Yes.
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 Are the Lakers making the playoffs?
No.
Yes.
Are the Warriors making the
No.
playoffs?
No.
Yes.
What was that?
That was a really tough yes.
Actually, no, yes.
Yes.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Oh, yes, a hell no.
Yes.
Last one. Are the Bulls making the playoffs?
Ooh. Where are they right now?
11.
No.
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 I'm gonna go say no.
Oh boy, they stink.
They might make the play-in.
Hey,
does the play-in count as the playoffs or no?
Yes, I'm considering the play-in the playoffs.
Play-in
I'm sorry,
doesn't
I'm
count for
considering the
playoffs.
play-in.
Nah, I can't. I mean, well, if you're gonna consider,
they'll be in the play-in, yeah, but they won't be.
Yeah, they'll be in the play-in.
If you count that as the playoffs, then I mean,
Shout out
they
to
could
Chicago.
probably
Chicago will
squeak
be
in.
trading one
I'll
of their
say
guys.
yes if they can squeak in. Yeah, I don't recall who's the 12th or 10th seed right now. I can't tell you.
The Raptors are the 9, the Wizards are the 10, the Bulls are the 11.
Yeah, the Bulls can. The Bulls can.
Yeah,
the Wizards.
They're 2 games behind them.
Yeah, they can probably overtake the Wizards. I'll say
Knicks fell in love with Zach LaVine at the trade deadline. Maybe he becomes a Knick in the offseason. That would be something that wouldn't get Leon Rose fired.
we were so close to pulling that trigger too.
No, you weren't.
Mm-hmm.
There was
That's what it felt like.
No, it's just there was one report that came out, and then a bunch of reports were like they talked, but like that's kind of it.
They made it seem like at any minute we were just gonna get him too.
I don't know
Always
what you were
wondered if
looking at
Kawhi
because
came,
that
what
never
happened.
was it. That never was that circumstance.
All right.
Twitter liars.
Yeah, so that's it. Clippers, are they a title contender?
Yes. Believe it or not, like Russ plays well with this team.
Very well. They lost again tonight, but
Russ plays well with this
Title
team.
contender.
Yeah,
No,
that's the hate in you.
it's not.
before
They can't
James
get out their
loses,
own way, Dylan. They can't. They just can't get out their own way. I really like that talent on that team too. I was just thinking, what if Kawhi came that time, but he didn't.
James is yes to all of the teams that we said before.
Even with Pat Bev,
Even with
No.
Pat Bev, no for the Bulls.
James loves
And
his
no
Pat
to
Bev.
the Clippers. I'm gonna say the Clippers will make the playoffs and probably lose, and depending on matchup, second round at best. Because as
When is
everybody
Bones
knows,
Highland gonna get playing time?
They're gonna lose to the Suns. That's guaranteed. They're gonna lose to the Suns. They're gonna lose to the Denver or the Suns. Some random, some one of those teams is just gonna.
I don't
would
believe
say
in Denver
losing
at
to
all,
Denver
so-
is not random. Losing to Denver is not random.
No, I mean they're gonna lose in a random fashion. Like they're not gonna just
Oh.
like get beat. It's always gonna be like, it's they're the Clippers.
I don't believe
Something
in Denver.
random is
So.
gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Are the Nuggets being overlooked?
Yes.
Nope.
Nope.
Yes.
You have them in the. I think they're being overlooked.
Yes. I
Do you
think
have them in
Jamal.
the
I think Jamal Murray. Finally, we get a chance to get him back into gear. I think he's going to show out in the playoffs. He's been waiting for this for a long time.
You have them in the conference finals or the second round?
Second round.
Second round.
They'll be in the second round, but I don't think they're an actual contender. I think defensively, Jokic is going to get exposed again.
He's a cone.
He's a fucking traffic cone. Have you watched him? You could put a traffic cone out there, and he will do the same thing on defense that Nikola Jokic does. You pull him out the way they used to expose Gobert's fraud defensive numbers. They're going to pull to Jokic, who also is, one, not a good defender at all. And they're going to make him look like fucking Winnie the Pooh out there, just fucking stumbling over his feet looking for a jar of honey.
James is trying to say that they're going to win the title.
Yeah, he's fucking wrong.
No, I don't believe that. I'm going to have to say nay to that.
They have a chance.
They do have a chance, but
I think they can get to the finals.
If a healthy Lakers team runs into that Nuggets team in the first round,
which they won't.
That's such a hypothetical at this point.
LeBron James, I think LeBron James either tore a ligament or broke his.
Yeah, he might not even play again.
If this Lakers
might not play
team
again this season.
Gets healthy and they will themselves to that 8th spot, that's trouble. I think if the Pelicans get healthy and they get the 8th spot, that's trouble.
That's my dark horse team to go to the second round and make some noise is the New Orleans Pelicans.
If Zion can get healthy and get on the court, they possess a massive mismatch for Denver.
They're so deep. It's ridiculous.
So deep. And then imagine Zion switches out to Jokic on the perimeter. And he's just like, yo, I'm a fucking Mack truck. Buried.
Yeah. And how far do you have James's Kings going?
First round.
Because
first round exit.
At this point,
hold on.
They'll take it to 6 or 7. It'll be 6 or 7 games.
I can take it from here. You guys can chill out. ISO. Not too much on the Kings, all right? Not too much on the Kings, all right?
The Kings are currently the 3. If they stay top 4. If the Kings have to meet up with the Clippers, they're out.
I think the Kings are out regardless. I think the Kings are out.
Yeah, the Kings are just out regardless.
No, I think there's a way the Kings beat the Mavs.
No.
The Mavs don't play defense.
So they play a lot of offense.
But the Kings are deep too, though.
The Kings are very deep, and the Kings play defense and have one of the more efficient offenses in basketball. So I don't really give a fuck what Luka and Kyrie could do if the best players on the Kings are in the backcourt and cook.
Yeah, they lost their Finney Smith and all them to stop the Harrison Barnes of that team.
Yeah. Sabonis is on that team, right?
Yes.
Sure
He's
is.
nasty.
And they don't have a
big.
big who could play defense like that on the interior, and he could pull them out.
Yeah.
So the Kings present a matchup nightmare for Dallas.
Yeah, I can see that.
If they're just too quick, too fast, too young. I think and they're deep. They are fucking deep. And
I think it's vice versa because it's matchup problems for the Kings as well. They have to guard Kyrie and Luka.
Yeah, but not through 1 through 5. It's really just your Luka and your Kyrie matchup nightmares. The Kings as a whole are a matchup nightmare for the Dallas team.
Yeah, they're just a young team. I don't see them making the right adjustments to do it.
Well, we'll see.
That's where coaching comes down to it. Mike Brown's a good coach. Mike Brown is a good coach and will be in top 3 for Coach of the Year.
He should be. He should
be.
Like, I'm still historic. So 1 year makes us forget all the other times he's been horrible.
I'm gonna abstain from the Mike Brown is a good coach talk. From my experience,
1 year absolves everyone. I guess
I can only talk from my experience. Mike
I don't know.
Brown.
This podcast likes to ignore like the past of players / coaches for 1 year.
Mike Brown is good though. I'm just saying, like from your mileage may vary.
Remember
what
when
I'm
we were
gonna
talking
say.
good about Daniel Jones and then he had that playoff game and then it was like, oh shit, no,
No,
he is
Dylan.
bad.
Dylan, stop.
He is bad.
Stop.
He had a bad game versus a great team. So
Can't do that,
He
man.
reverted back to who he actually was.
Can't do that, man.
Hey, I don't forget the whole sample size. I just don't overrate over a year.
yeah. I mean the Kings. I think
Mike
the
Brown
Kings get out
deserves that
first round.
Coach of the Year award.
He
I hope he
definitely
wins it
does.
too. I hope he wins it too.
Not going to, but
I think it's gonna go to Mike Malone.
Fuck
I
I
see
think-
that too.
I think Boston's coach is going to get it.
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Never mind. Good,
Never mind.
good call.
Yeah, unanimous.
Good call. Good call.
But still, Mike Brown should absolutely be in the conversation. All right. Is there anything else for basketball? We have to bet. It's a wheel spin. Can't wait for the Lakers.
The Wheel of Doom.
Will Smith, and you better hope that they don't make the playoffs, buddy.
That Wheel Spin's gnarly, man.
You're gonna lose with that because Dylan controls the wheel spin, so he's gonna put hot chip on every
No, you can't pay me. You can't pay me to do the hot chip challenge. No way. No way.
Raj, have you seen the Wheel of Death? Dylan, do you have that
No, I
queued
haven't
up?
seen the Wheel of Death.
Let me see if I have it.
You have
I've
that
seen
queued
your
up?
hot chip challenge though. That was tough. That was tough to watch, bro. That was tough to watch.
That was very.
I do.
Yeah, let me see this wheel again.
See what you got yourself into. So blindly will spin.
Look at some of those.
Champ's choice. I will assume will be whoever wins the challenge gets to choose.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
Anthony, let's say the Lakers won and made to the playoffs. Let's see what you'd be doing. We'll take Super Bowl party off. That doesn't count. We'll respin.
Oh yeah.
Remove.
Figure something to put in there.
NBA Finals party.
You would be doing a TikTok dance video.
You doing the body yada yada.
Anthony out here doing the fucking renegade.
Hell, fuck that. I better win now.
Anthony out here doing the fucking renegade for the folks.
Oh, hell no.
I just want to rock by Uzi Vert.
Oh, the Uzi. Oh.
Pretty girls walk like.
Hip slap. Anthony doing the hip slaps.
Anthony lose control, man. Easy. I think we should be able to provide options for him at that point.
All right, make sure if you have any ideas for the wheel, just hit me and I will.
I will put them on the wheel.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That fun fact, that wheel will be there for March Madness as well.
Yes, that is the consequence for the loser of March Madness.
And if Mike loses again, he has to get 2 wheel
Got
spins.
2 spins.
By the way, gentlemen, we are almost officially a month out from the start of the Major League Baseball regular season.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
What's the Yankees' first series?
I don't know.
Who are the Reds playing?
Yeah, let's talk about the Reds, Anthony.
Let's not talk about that.
How many wins?
Yeah.
I'm not there yet.
Hashtag Cody Williams.
I'm not on that. I'm not in MLB mode.
Cody
quite
Williams.
You should have more faith this season because you already won your bet against Dylan.
Cody Williams. Light the beam.
Well, Dylan's bet last year was a little extreme.
Well, but see, my bet, I went out my shield. I knew I picked a losing bet, but I went out my shield.
Oh, there you go, Anthony. Yeah, open the season against Pittsburgh.
Oh
Oh, yes.
God.
Yes. Yes.
Pittsburgh,
0-3.
then the Cubs.
Shut up, Dylan.
Pittsburgh, then the Cubs, then
O'Neal
the
Cruz.
Phillies.
0-6.
We always beat. No, we always beat the Pittsburgh. Shut up. We always beat the
So who
Pirates.
were the first three
O'Neal
series?
Cruz hits for 400 4 home runs, 3 triples.
The Cubs were kind of like up and
Home
down.
for
They
the-
beat us. We beat them. You know.
What an
Home
easy
for
start.
Pittsburgh,
What an
home
easy
for the
start.
Cubs,
My goodness.
and then at Philly for 3.
That's
Then
gonna
be
at
rough. Shit.
Atlanta for 3.
That's gonna be
Oh,
rough
fuck.
too.
I predict
Then
Bryce
home-
Harper's going to hit 2 cycles in that series.
God
And
damn.
have a game where he hits 5 home runs.
I like Hunter Green though, man.
Yo, they
Yeah,
put
I
us
like
at the Braves and at the Phillies. Oh,
I might have to pull up for some of these games, man. It was good. But listen, like, I don't know if I can deal with IKF as shortstop again. I don't know.
And
If,
it-
They
I don't know
better
if I can do that.
bring
Yes.
Volpe up or any of these other young kids and get
Peraza,
IKF
please,
the fuck out of here.
please,
It begins.
please make him
IKF, put him on the first airplane to fucking Siberia.
Peraza, please.
And if you think otherwise, you're wrong.
I really want
Mike,
that
you
so
but
bad.
you IKF not good. IKF no
not.
good.
I like Peraza. I like Peraza.
So you should be joining this like picket fence or the fucking picket line where we're striking
With the
the New York
pitchforks.
Yankees with the pitchforks and
A
the
mob.
we're a mob. We were out there with our pitchforks and picket signs saying fucking fire IKF, fucking send him fucking anywhere else.
Hicks and IKF can't see the field, man. These
Trade
guys
them
need
to Beijing for the statue of Stephon Marbury outside of the
Bench
Beijing
players.
Ducks and have them just clean the dugout. And have the statue just there outside of Yankee Stadium. Stephon Marbury outside of Yankee Stadium just to get those two off. Get them out of here.
All right. We're the only one. Let's quickly. I don't know because Jake Paul. Who saw the fight?
I read the script.
Jake Paul went out and caught that first L.
Good fight.
It was
According to
it was
him,
a
he
much
still
better
won because he
fight.
said he won $30 million. So
He's so
He did
mad.
win
He was
30
so
million.
mad too. And then he was like, "Yeah, I won. I don't care. I won. The game of
that's
life."
such a bitch thing to do.
The game of life.
Yeah, he was like going off about how he like won. I mean, he did win $30 million. I wish I had $30 million.
I wish, yeah, absolutely. But no, it was a much better fight than I thought it was going to be. Fucking Tommy Fury, huh? He still stinks, but man, he
Just
followed
me
that
and
game
Dylan
plan of just
to a T.
The gypsy blood.
Hey, I'm going to hold this jab out, follow up with a straight right, and then I'm going to follow up with a 1-2, and then I'm going to just keep doing the same fucking thing all fight. And Jake's not going to just do it at all.
I got into I don't want to say an argument, but I got into it with my brother because I watching the fight thought that Tommy Fury enabled that picture perfect Lennox Lewis jab hold technique to a T. Jab hold, jab hold, and I thought he did it to perfection. I mean, because that's how you smother someone with power, jab hold. But he didn't think that he thought that Jake Paul was holding most of the fight, which I didn't think so. But
I didn't think Tommy did a ton of holding, but I could definitely see what you're talking about. Definitely slow Jake down, force Jake to put his head down a lot more and throw overhands, which he likes that punch anyway, but he was throwing it way too wild, and he was losing balance a lot when he was throwing it.
Yeah, I saw some of the highlights look like that.
And
wonder.
Tommy was hitting him with some good like check hooks, check shots on those too. So like his game plan was spot on. But again, when you're fighting a guy who really hasn't fought any professional boxers and is beat up like social media
Old guys.
influencers,
Yeah, I'm
old
about to say
guys.
some YouTubers and stuff
Like, it's probably really easy when you have your brother's like one of the greatest heavyweight
of
boxers
all
of all
time.
just saying, "All right, lad, just 1-2, all fight."
It's the gypsy blood, man.
And then yeah, it was 1-2, all fight.
Royalty.
All fight. Couldn't
And
do
they're
it.
gonna run it back, and I will
They're
watch it
gonna run
again.
it back, and he's going to. I think he's gonna knock Jake out in the rematch because I think Jake's gonna walk into an uppercut in the next fight because that uppercut was there all night, and he just didn't throw it. So if Tyson Fury is in his corner and watches that film, you can't tell me that Tyson Fury doesn't see that uppercut sitting there begging to be thrown, because me, a novice boxing fan, could see that uppercut was begging to be thrown. So we'll see. But yeah, that all had to
Jake,
go.
though. Kudos to Jake for actually getting there, fighting finally a boxer. All it means to me is if he would have fought the guy he was supposed to fight like last year, Hasim Rahman, he would have beat the shit out of Jake. He would have beat the shit out of Jake because he's naturally like a heavyweight, I think, or a cruiserweight. He's naturally a cruiserweight, and he was having to come down, and he was having trouble making weight. And he was like, "Oh, I'll catch a fight catch weight." And Jake was like, "Nope." He's gonna get his fucking ass beat.
Get
did a
Rockman like
catchweight
I seen
fight with
Rockman.
But they were only a pound apart.
It's still a check. So
Yeah,
they weren't fighting that cruiserweight.
No, they were fighting in between,
So
which is crazy because Jake usually fights at like 185 ish. So they were right around there. What, Jake was like 183, Tommy was like 184 and a half. So they were right around there.
Which is interesting that boxing doesn't have a 185 weight class. It's weird.
They have 5-pound weight classes all the way through up until you hit that.
You hit 175 for light heavyweight, and then
Just like in the UFC, they have 185 and then right up to 205.
Weird.
I do want to mention that Patrick Kane is a New York Ranger.
Dylan, play the music. Fuck you, Mike. I told you I was gonna talk shit. I told you once this happened, I was gonna talk shit. Hey.
So strange.
Fuck you, Mike. Told you once we got Patrick Kane, I was gonna start talking shit to you. And now here we are. Patrick Kane's a Nick. I prophesized it. I willed it to
Say the Nick.
I mean, the Rangers, same building, same shit. Fucking same owner. But it happened. I willed it to existence. Now we will be talking shit about hockey.
Surprisingly, same owner, too. It's so weird.
Except he lets the hockey guys run the hockey thing.
Right.
He's finally started to let the basketball guys maybe run it. After he goes and takes facial recognition software to find all the people who talk shit about him and kick him out of the arena.
No,
yeah,
man.
it was a good fight. I'd watch Tommy Fury fight Jake Paul again. I would absolutely, especially because I didn't pay for it. I would have not paid for that.
But yeah, y'all have your fun. Meanwhile, the Devils also made a trade, but it's cool. I will.
Is it Patrick fucking Kane?
No.
Then I don't care.
He's
Anthony,
back.
Just remember this, Anthony. Just remember.
He's back linked up. He's linked up with his boy, the Bread Man. They're back. They're back together. Like it's 2014 all over again.
I used to play NHL 10 with Patrick Kane on the fucking cover of that game.
That
dudes up.
At 2010, Patrick Kane ain't walking through that door.
He was fairly decent last.
Fun fact: I used to work with a guy who did cocaine with Patrick Kane.
What?
Wow.
We on Speak on It podcast cannot corroborate that.
At
Yeah.
all.
Did it at a friend's wedding.
Podcast Poppy.
These are allegations, and these stories are of Podcast Poppy's opinion and his only.
Opinion. I'm just telling you the truth. I tell you what I know. But yeah, we'll keep that. So I don't want to incriminate either one of them. But yeah, Patrick Kane did cocaine once.
Pat, that's
Maybe
not
twice.
true. In the future, Pat, come visit the podcast or speak on the podcast.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
Oh God.
Yeah. Anyway, Devils in 6.
That's crazy. All our hockey teams are really good.
Oh, excuse me? You said Devils in 6?
Devils in 6.
Yeah, I need to get these tickets before, it becomes too expensive for me to go.
I mean,
Nothing would make me feel better than watching an elimination game against the Devils. And they
Toss
get
your fucking
eliminated.
raggedy ass franchise off the turnpike. Bums.
I mean, we might not even catch y'all because we're still trying
You'll
to
be
get the
fucking
2
out. You'll be out of the
trying to
fucking
get the
playoffs.
2
You're
seed.
losers. You're dumb.
We're trying to
losers.
get the 2 seed right now. So,
Wait, are you saying that we're not going to make the playoffs or something?
No, you're going to make the playoffs, but we're not worried about you 6 and 7 seeds.
Oh, okay.
We're trying to get the 2 seed.
Ooh.
Trying to get the 2
Okay.
seed. We're not going to get the 1 seed.
Cool.
The Bruins have turned into the fucking Golden State Warriors.
Correct.
So whatever. But that 2 seed, the Carolina Hurricanes, we're only. Let me check.
I don't think you guys can beat Carolina in a 6-game series either.
Well, that's why they play the games, right?
Okay.
That's why they play the games.
All right. Yo, listen. I can't. The kid lineup, they're not kids anymore, man. So I can't wait. I can't wait for the playoffs to start. Honestly,
Fuck you, Mike. Fuck the Devils. I don't give a fuck.
Yes, Anthony, your LA Kings are technically the 2 seed in the West.
Yep.
Hasn't watched a single game.
Y'all literally
Just started
have less points than the
talking
Rangers
shit the other day.
You have less points than the Rangers. So I just want you to know that if you were in the Eastern Conference, you would be the 8 seed right now. Just want you to know that. But it's okay.
It's all good. It's all good.
It's all good. You go ahead and enjoy playing the Seattle Kraken in the first round. Meanwhile,
they're crackhead fans.
Meanwhile, me, Dylan, and Roz are over here fighting for our lives in World War III. We're over here in World War III in round 1, and you're playing the Kraken.
Feels good. Feels good. I need to have one. I need to have at least one winning team.
That division is going to be sick when it comes playoff time.
Yeah,
That's
NHL playoffs.
be
The Eastern Conference and the NHL playoffs are going to be
bloodbath in the playoffs.
But we only have one topic left, Dylan.
I can't wait.
It's preview time. It's fight week. Do you feel it? Can you feel the energy?
It's the most exciting thing because it's not just a fight week; it's a Jon Jones fight week.
Jon Jones fight week.
God.
Jon Jones.
What time is the fight?
He'll probably hit the cage around midnight. Don't worry, me and Dylan will be live chatting in the chat every second of this fight. Jon Jones going for the heavyweight title against Cyril Gane, French kickboxer, big man with a lot of power. Dylan already thinks that Jon Jones is the GOAT. I think Jon needs this fight to become the GOAT. We will see. Anybody got any predictions? I know where Dylan's going. Roz, Anthony, James.
I mean, if I have to, you guys know how I feel about Jon Jones and his whole story.
Oh.
Bad guy.
Bad guy.
It's a cheat.
Bad human.
But I mean,
I can't go.
If he would test positive the same thing today, it wouldn't be illegal and he wouldn't be in trouble.
Steroids, yes. The cocaine, no.
Well, the Teribinol that he took, the amount that was in his system wouldn't have passed the test, and he wouldn't have been found guilty of anything.
But the cocaine.
Cocaine,
still
yeah.
remains.
Well, yeah.
Cocaine
Who
remains.
cares?
Who cares?
Who cares? Fuck
Who
you.
cares
Go
about
do
the
drugs. That's
cocaine?
fine. Do your thing,
Cocaine,
John.
yeah.
Dylan loves his anti-heroes. So we're gonna just
Jon Jones is absolutely an anti-hero.
We're gonna pick
terrible human being,
We're gonna pick Bones here.
but the GOAT.
Going with Bones.
Jon Jones. Anthony.
I gotta go with Jon Jones. Like
It's almost like you
the
can't
troll
pick
in me
against
wanted
him.
to say otherwise, but I just can't.
The anti-hero.
James.
It's almost like you can't pick against him. Yeah, exactly. It's almost like you can't pick against him.
My villain academia.
Boom.
Except
He
I'm going to
is
pick against him.
one
But
for
Cyril
all.
Gane is going to win this fight.
No, all
Not
for
only
one.
is he going to win this fight, he's going to knock Jon Jones out. You're going to see history this weekend. He's going to knock Jon out. And we're all going to collectively lose our shit this weekend.
Yeah, you go ahead and put that bad shit into existence. I'm going to go ahead and just give him his own personal wing in the UFC Hall of Fame.
He's definitely a Hall of Famer.
Which will never happen because him and
might
Dana
not.
fucking hate each other.
And listen, I'm not going to sit here and tell you Jon Jones is not like undeniably top 3 all time. And then, however you want to do that 3, we can